Welcome on stage, OG! No longer at the top of the food chain, the TI6 winners have faced adversity at every turn this season. Yet, they refuse to surrender. After an early exit in Boston, this is their golden opportunity to put the past few months behind them and get back to winning ways. Playtime's over. Welcome on stage, Team Random.
Okay then, Team Random, TI6 champions versus the Boston Major champions OG, going head to head on the stage as well as in the booths, as well as in game. Plenty to discuss, and we'll get more from our panel members in just a moment. But first of all, let's hear from the man of the moment, who is with Shiva just before they entered the round of 16.
Here with OG Fly. How are you doing today, Fly?
I'm doing good.
Right, you've won 3 so far. Is this any different? Do you feel still special for a major?
I would say it always feels different for me every major because it's also a different location every time, and this is also a different team. Obviously, like Boston, we had the same roster, but it always feels different, and it's always a new challenge for me. So it's pretty nice.
Do you try to boot camp on different locations as well to keep it new?
Not exactly. It kind of just so happened that we went to Austria. Because Red Bull helped us out, and that's pretty much where their headquarters are, so it was easy for them to hook us up. So, I mean, we usually boot camp close to where we are going to actually have the competition. This time it was Austria. I've never been there. Cool place, though.
Yeah, I saw the videos.
Yeah.
You went hiking with the team.
Yeah, we went hiking. We did some fun stuff. It's good to sometimes take your mind off of Dota, and then it kind of, like, you kind of long for playing Dota again. You know, you take a little bit of time off, and then you want to do it more. So it definitely helps to kind of relax yourself and then go into it.
So you feel a successful boot camp?
Yeah, definitely. I think we tackled some issues, but we learned a lot, and we also know we still have a lot to learn after it. But it was a fun boot camp for sure. Right,
because going into a major again, do you have other ways of keeping it fresh, keeping it new, having maybe different training routines that you normally do?
It always does feel a little different to me. Like everything is related. Like the only thing that's the same is that you're kind of just playing the same game still, but the game is still different.
Yes.
So I think it's related a lot to the patch because Dota changes, and then there's new exciting things, new heroes, new ideas, and that kind of keeps it fresh for us. So in terms of training routine, it doesn't change too much. Obviously, we do we improve on certain aspects of how we train and what to look out for. But it's mostly the game that keeps us fresh in the end.
All right, how do you rate your current form compared to going into Boston? How do you think your chances are?
I think we're still very strong. When I look at Boston, I think some of the other teams at Boston did not find themselves yet, and we just hit like a stride during Boston where we really found what's good for us. And coming into this tournament, I think we're still in this process of learning the best way for us to do things, but I think other teams here have already found their way. So I think there are more strong teams here because they know themselves better. So I think overall the competition this time is going to be even harder than last time.
And you're a veteran as it comes to Dota 2 tournaments. Do you get any nerves or jitters when you walk onto the stage and into that booth?
It's always kind of fun to like have a full crowd cheering for you, or sometimes not cheering, but usually cheering. It's always a special feeling. And you might get like a little nervous in the very beginning, but as soon as you jump into the game, usually it disappears from me. Even if after I've done this for such a long time, you still get a little like, I'm not sure if like you call it nervousness or like it's some excitement feeling, yeah. And it still happens, and that's one of the reasons I love playing and competing. It's a special feeling.
What is your most prominent memory that you have of your very long Dota career so far?
I think the best memory I have would be the Manila Major. I think that was, first of all, an incredible tournament, probably my favorite all time. I think the people there were amazing, and they made the tournament incredible, and playing in front of that crowd and also winning was an unforgettable experience. You
know, you have played a lot of tournaments coming in as the underdog. Better yet, against all the majors that you've won so far, you weren't favorites going into that. I think people are now, you know, they're okay with OG not being underdogs. Everybody is expecting you to perform well. How is that impacting you?
I would say that being an underdog is better, or sometimes not even being an underdog, just being under the radar. If you look at teams here like Virtus Pro and Secret, who didn't really have the spotlight on them, but everybody knows they're good, but they're kind of flying under the radar now, and people are looking at IG and also us. I think they have the advantage, these teams like Virtus Pro and Secret, because it relieves pressure off of you, first of all, and it allows you to just play better. Like if everybody's looking at you, you also feel this. Even if you're going to tell yourself, whatever, it doesn't matter, don't care what people think or what they say about you, it still gets to a lot of people. And that's why Dota is a lot about a mental game in the end. Like the team that's mentally strong, if they're going to be the favorites, they can still break through this and still stay very strong. But if you're the favorites, what happens, like for example at TI, sometimes the pressure gets to you, and this happens to a lot of teams. And a lot of teams, I think, are not mentally strong. It's something everybody is. I'm sure they realize it themselves, and it's something that they have to work for. But it's a really hard area.
Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you right now for this major?
I think there is pressure, but not that much. I don't think we're considered the best team here, which is great. I love that. But definitely we have eyes on us. I think we're in a state where we're kind of in between. We're not exactly the favorites, but we're definitely high up there. But you know, so I would say we're looking pretty okay for now. And like I'm feeling pretty good myself about the whole situation. I think we've also learned a bit more on how to tackle this whole stress and pressure thing a bit better, but we're still learning.
Now, at the Boston Major, it was No Tail that said that nobody can beat OG in a best of 5. Now, granted, that best of 5 in the finals, you won that one. But afterwards...
Yeah, we lost a couple. Yeah, I think, you know, we were just feeling good back then, but we definitely lost some BO5s and we learned from it. I still think we can beat anybody in a BO5, but we'd also lose to all the good teams in a BO5. Yeah. So...
Can you talk to me about DAC in specific? I mean, that was a team that you've previously beaten in the same tournament, and then the finals looked fairly one-sided.
I think what happened in DAC was that we beat IG in the winner bracket finals, but we didn't feel that good about it. We felt like we won, but we didn't really win. In a sense, we beat them, but we felt like they actually played better. So we weren't very happy about it. And then going into the finals, I think they knew that, and they came in like really strong. They knew that they were actually better than us at this moment, and they understood things better than us, and they just like destroyed us pretty much. And we let like some issues arise during the games, and pressure got to us. We definitely tackled something we haven't tackled as a team before, and it's good that we lost there because it just helps us in the future. But yeah, the pressure got to us, and our mindset was completely off. But we learned from it. We lost to ourselves, and we lost to a team that was really strong and really wanted to beat us back then.
You feel like you fixed all the issues that you encountered during that time?
I don't think we fixed all our issues, but I think we tackled some of them, and we're still improving on it day to day, and we have new issues arise every time, but we work on them.
That's Dota.
But yeah, like, you got to break down before you build up sometimes, and I think that's the main thing that happened.
How do you feel your playstyle has changed over the last couple of months, since Boston as well? Obviously, the patch changed, but
yeah, I think we used to play very one-dimensional strats, or maybe not one-dimensional, but we had specific strats that we always went for. The main thing for us that changed is that we just added more strategies to our arsenal, different heroes and different timings, because some teams will only be able to play a certain strat and feel good about it, but the teams who can play several different strategies, not just like some split push thing or not just full team fight thing, they can play different things, then it becomes a nightmare to draft against them, because they can play anything and they understand it.
Yeah.
So I think we have evolved since then, and we have other big different timing strategies that we can go for. We still have our favorites, of course, and everybody knows us as this illusion team. But you play what you're good at, and if you add on top of it, it becomes really hard for opponents to draft against you, and then you use that to your advantage.
Well, I certainly hope that OG can go all the way again at this major. I wish you all the best of luck in the main event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
My pleasure.
There we go, Captain Marvelous, Captain Fly of OG, a man who has led his team to 3 major championships out of the 4 that have already been held. It's an incredible record and a partnership which dates more than 1,100 games with No Tail alongside. That kind of experience, comrade, you can't buy that, can you?
No, you can't. I mean, those two guys have been playing together for so long, and it's funny because I remember when No Tail was on Cloud9, they weren't playing together at that time, and that felt like a really long period of time, but suddenly, they're back. I've really been proud to see how OG has developed as a team since after that event.
It's not like they've had it easy either, Curtis. They won that Frankfurt Major from the lower bracket. They then had to come all the way back through after Shanghai's disappointment and then win Manila. You heard Fly say it was one of his favourite tournaments ever. They win that, go into TI as the favourites, doesn't work out. Then they have to bounce back again, and they have to go through a lineup change as well, having lost possibly the best player in the world at the time. And yet they're still able to come back and win a major. It's impressive, isn't it?
It's incredibly impressive. I think it's a testament to just the strength of Noto and Fly, not just as players, but how they think about the game, how they can evolve their ideas, how they can teach their teammates their ideas. And in the history of Dota, OG is definitely up there if you're thinking about most accomplished teams.
Legendary team already, even though they've been around for 18 months. It seems longer somehow. How have they only been here for 18 months?
It is pretty absurd, but these two have ties dating back 7-8 years, maybe more than that now. Like, these two have just know each other completely. And also, not just that, they're very friendly. They're very easy to approach. And I'm sure when Anna joined in, that was probably like the biggest thing for them to build up his confidence. And they've done such a great job at that.
They have indeed. Let's turn our attention to their opponents. They were formerly Wings Gaming. That's what you'll have known them as in 2016 and 2015 for that matter as well. Champions of the International last year on the back of some very, very odd drafting and crazy hero picks, and you just didn't know what they wanted to do. The fact that they've moved away from Wings and called themselves Team Random seems kind of appropriate.
I think that probably made a big decision in their team name. I mean, those guys have stuck together for many years now. They've been playing for a long time. Wings is an organization that used to exist even previous, to the big TI6 run. So the big thing for them is maybe this is one of the best teams with the greatest example of a team that stuck together and was able to do something very, very accomplished with.
It does make a difference, doesn't it? When the teams stick together and that longevity. We've seen it with Mouse Sports as well through the Adfinum run that they had. Potentially a tier 3 team back when they first started and have come all the way through to be runners-up at a major.
I think it's always an advantage when you stick together. You build on your own ideas. You don't have to when you get new teammates, you have a lot of fresh ideas come in, but you also have to teach each other for a long time so you can adapt to your different play styles. I think Team Random, I believe 3 of them were in college or school together or something, and then they started playing Dota together, and then became TI champions. That's amazing.
Power of friendship.
Power of friendship.
In terms of where they are right now, it's not a great place, is it? I mean, when you look back at their results, they had some relatively good results just after TI. I think there was the cruise ship thing that they did and a couple of other bits and pieces that they were good at. But since 7.0, they're results have been very poor. You know, gone out of, even Boston Major went out first round, obviously, to EG. DAC went out to EG again. Must be a real pain for them when they play EG these days. But they just haven't seemingly performed. The only thing they've had anywhere near close to the kind of TI form was at Genting, which was right back at the start of 7.0.
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, he's talking with Jack a bit about it. He was just saying that they lost some of their confidence. They're not like the way that they were last year when they won. These guys were super tryhards, and not only just that, they fiended. These guys were playing like Dota every single day, like so much. And that's what gave them the element of surprise. It's just like, we can pick pretty much anything. We have strategies all like with every single hero included, except for Bloodseeker. And they were able to execute it. Like, but now, afterwards, Jack's been saying that they do seem to have some problems between them. Like, we've seen them shifting roles. So that's like that definitely does hurt. Yeah,
let's talk about roles actually, and talk about our matchup. We've chosen the off lane to talk about in this one. It's a key role in any game, in any matchup, but never more so than this one, surely.
I mean, you look at somebody like S4, storied history, won a TI himself. It's always been funny because when he was even in the mid-role in Alliance, he was playing a lot of these off-lane type heroes and utilizing to its fullest extent. And we've been seeing him. I mean, when we talk about other teammates coming in, somebody who brings a lot of ideas is S4.
And Faith, last year some argued he was probably the best player in the world.
Yeah, I think he was known as that in China. Yeah. He was the best player in the world. People would say like, "Oh, trying to nick stun auto vendetta Faith Beyond can't be done." And he's just so fast. He's very precise. I remember watching this clip, like, Eternal Envy was showing me this clip where he was Batrider. He had 2 Fairy Fires. There's like 3 heroes going on him. And he was like, "Oh, they're ganking me? No, I'm ganking you." And he just pops his 2 Fairy Fires, gets a double kill. And you're like, what's happening? Like, what goes through this guy's mind to make this decision and have it be correct? And he was so good at that snap judgment.
Yeah. So what's fallen off for him? Because he hasn't been the bright star that we saw in the middle and late end of last year, has he?
No, but I think maybe that could be one thing that does kind of maybe could hurt him a bit. He's extremely aggressive with his playstyle, but he is like the big playmaker for this team. Even some of the times where you're like, there's no way he's going to go, oh my god, he's going back in. What is he? And Pantheon just like rushes in with like a sanking or something, and he's always just, I think that's probably like the thing that could hurt him is being over-aggressive in a way.
Okay.
To be honest, I think it's a lot of Faith Beyond sort of excelled when he was versus tri-lanes and dual lanes. And he used to do this thing called, I like to call it a Faith Beyond on our teams. He would like be Batrider. He'd firefly around the trees behind the tower and then pull the wave. And he would do a lot of this more clowny stuff that, you're looking at it like, what am I watching? Is this a 3 keep up? No, it's top level Dota and it's working. And it was destroying. He would just have these absolutely incredible plays like that.
All right, let's turn our attention to the draft. It is underway. Thoughts on this, Fog, in terms of where we go? I mean, we mentioned earlier on 53 different heroes contested in team random matches so far. Out of 11 games, by the way, which means there's a total of 55 heroes in that pool. That's absurd.
That is.
How do they ban against them? How do they pick against them?
I think for Team Random, I think for them to ban versus OG, I'd like to take them to take the same approach that Thunderbirds did, the banning the Naga and Towerblade. For OG, on the other hand, I think the Venge ban is really, really good here because I think that's the hero that Random has actually shown their most success. Other than that, I think it's very difficult for OG actually to ban because Team Random is a very counter-picking team. They do like a lot of different versatility and variety of their heroes, but they do like to see what the enemy team is going to draft and then pick a hero that kind of works well versus it.
You think they play their own game, Conrad, here, OG?
I mean, I don't know if they're playing their own game, but they're going to come with their own strategy that they think is going to be most effective against Team Random. Whether Team Random ends up, creating something very interesting with their lineups, I feel like OG is a team that's able to adapt, especially even through the drafting phase.
So we do see, the Naga and Towerblade banned out.
I went to Team Random's heroes page, and their top played hero is Venge with 4 picks only. Yeah. And that's the only hero with 4 picks. Like, everything has 3 or under. So I feel like OG, they went to the drafting page. They're like, all right, what's their most popular hero? We're going to ban that out.
Yeah, we'll just get rid of 1.
That's crazy, though. 11 games and your most picked hero is a 4-game hero.
So they snap picked this. So Vision versus the Monkey King, Night Stalker, very good versus that. They've actually been really liking that approach. They played it versus Batrider a few times. I know not less in this tournament, but in the past, they've really liked to play that kind of Vision game when they're playing versus a Vision hero. Strong opener by them with the CM Night Stalker. Doesn't really give away if it's going to be like a core Night Stalker or a supports just yet.
I think CM's one of the supports that can actually make support Night Stalker work. Just because she's one of the best wave pushers, she allows Night Stalker to have a lot of mana to roam during the first night.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go on and on about Jarek's Monkey King as well, but I think the one big thing is that it's a very comfort pick for that team, and I feel like OG's been one of those few teams that have been able to play really, really well around it, and Jarek's is just, does a masterclass with that hero.
The thing about Monkey King is, like, even in OG's games, some games it's just unpicked, unbanned, ignored completely, and in this game they first pick it. So that tells me either they figured out something in scrims about how to play the hero a bit differently, or they have a preset strat with the hero.
That is not the one that I was expecting to be grabbed second.
I do like Rasa a lot versus Night Stalker though. You have something that one of the things that Night Stalker is really good at is abusing the enemy team's vision. He's really good at getting these pickoffs, putting pressure on lanes. But one way you can counteract that is if you just 5-man down a lane, because he doesn't add much team fight. The Night Stalker does it. Rasa's very good at that. Also, another thing with Night Stalker is he's really slippery. But Shackle lasts 8 seconds at level 20.
Can't run from that.
You can't. It's the best spell in the game.
Just the fifth pick for the Shaman. Has a 25% win rate from the previous 4 matches that it's been played in here at the Kiev Major.
Oh, ban the Bristle.
Has been played by them, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of teams have been experimenting with that hero. I mean, OG banned it out against Thunderbirds, who is one of the teams I heard that was looking to innovate with that hero quite a bit, and that was being talked about a lot. It's very interesting. I mean, I see that hero having a lot of potential, and especially with Solar Crest and other saving items like Lotus Orb, can go really far and be a really, really hard hero to deal with.
We saw Weehug, what was he, like 18-0?
Yeah,
It's something
Berserk.
insane. So that hero, I think, is very scary when you know in your first 2 heroes, you don't have heroes that will do enough damage to him. Like, if CM ults and he turns his back, your team might just die. Like, the CM might die before the Bristleback dies, and you don't want that type of scenario.
Yeah, it looks like they're just taking out at least OG is taking out the heroes that have just been, quote-unquote, most played by Team Random.
Yeah. They've been played all of 3 times.
I'll admit that, like, these 2 teams, they're picking potentially both their supports on first 2. Coming into this tournament, I actually really didn't like that, but I'm not a good drafter, so this might be the meta that's developing in scrims. And they think that even if you show R2 supports, maybe it's because when I think of your supports, I think, a bit more roaming. But to be honest, the roamers have been very nerfed. Even Monkey King, they're not playing him as much as the roamer. He's more of a pressure hero now. So maybe they think if we just show our supports, yeah, you might be able to counter our map movement, but we don't care about the roaming. We care about the pressure, and you can't counter pressure, generally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much an EG style of draft. Crit's been doing this for quite some time now, leaving his carries mids till late, trying to make them less counterable, I guess.
The Magnus ban. I mean, just a solid safe ban. Gives you a lot of options. Always a strong offlaner.
Especially when played by S4.
I mean, son of Mag, right?
Original Magnus.
Yeah.
The son of Magnus.
I mean, he inspired me to play Magnus when I was watching him on Alliance, and that hero is just amazing.
No Tidehunter.
No
Yeah,
Tidehunter.
even back then.
Original.
When that hero was broken, skewer going through and vulnerable.
It was like 1400
BKB.
range at level 1 or something. I don't know.
RP also did like 300 damage back then and stuff.
yeah,
It was absurd. Yeah.
That was good times.
Good times.
I like the Lycan ban. I think Lycan's one of those heroes that can make these slower heroes like Rasta more vulnerable. Also, Monkey King as a hero, we've always talked about, he's vulnerable to high physical damage. All the counters to him in pubs are the high physical jump heroes. Sorry, I just got lost because that's a Leshrac.
That's a
That's
Leshrac.
a Leshrac.
Yeah.
That is a Leshrac.
That is a new hero that they have not played here.
Wait, is it
That
new
they
hero
have
for a
not played.
tournament,
Oh, I don't know if
or-
it's new for the tournament.
It is new for the tournament.
Yeah, I don't think
tournament
it
as
is
well,
new.
right?
It has not been banned or picked. It is the 100th picked or banned at the Kiev Major.
Sometimes I feel like Team Rat. I know this is like
This is super random now.
single elimination at a major. They're just like, hey, what can we pick? We haven't picked yet.
Yeah. Well, they did it in the knockout stage. Well,
They did
weren't
at
knockouts,
TI.
They did it at TI.
Yeah,
In the upper bracket, they just randomly pick a
I forget what they picked.
Jakiro.
Jakiro, yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Did they win that game?
No.
Well, then.
Bad time, guys.
Do you think that they're going for like setting up maybe like a type of aggro, since Shadow Shaman and Monkey King aren't really the strongest in the laning phase in that kind of way? If they run like some kind of like Leshrac Night Stalker +1 or Leshrac CM +1
That sounds
and put a lot of pressure
decent.
on it.
Rasta is a bit scary in lane, I think, since his base damage. He has 68 base damage
Yeah.
at 140 damage nuke for like, I think it's 85 mana.
Yeah.
On an 8-second that hero's insane in lane. I love Rasta, but That sounds interesting. I think one of the things they're looking at is they have this Rasa hero who's going to be able to push us down. If they choose to 5-man us, because we have this Night Stalker, we need a hero that can solo pressure them back.
Okay.
If you're just trading, like, if he has to drop wards and you just eat like a tier 1, you trade tier 1 for tier 1, you're going to feel really good.
Yep.
But OG see that and they're like, oh, haha, Jabeta, we're not going to 5-man you. We're going to pick Spectre. And Spectre versus Night Stalker in particular is really cool because what happens in teamfights with Night Stalker is he'll use his ultimate ability, which reduces all your vision to, I don't know what it is, I think it's 600, 650.
It's very low,
It's
very,
small
very
enough
low.
that it's very noticeable. But you press Haunt, you have vision of every hero anyways.
OG hasn't really drafted too much Spectre. They've actually, I think, lost it the only time that they played it, if I recall correctly.
I think they've actually lost all their games without Alchemist, Naga, and Terrorblade at the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they tried Arc Warden 3 times, and all 3 have been losses.
They also the Spectre. They also it was an Abaddon core, I believe. That was the last one. Spectre's also here. The thing about Leshrac is that he's an extremely high system.
Oh
They
my.
take
Are
the
you
Alchemist?
kidding me?
We did think we were going to see an Alchemist this
We
game,
did.
but not from Team Random.
Yeah, bonus
Okay.
code for killing the wards.
4 heroes,
Yeah.
everyone gets an Aghanims already too. Night Stalker, you give him an Aghanims.
That's true.
He
That's
can
a
get
good-
wow.
he can get a Midas for himself, and then he can just be given an Aghanims and get his own other different types of items, like a Lotus Orb or something along those lines.
It's really strong.
It is an interesting approach.
Alchemist has traditionally been a really good punisher to the greedier heroes. If you saw an Anti-Mage before, you would pick Alchemist.
Yeah.
If you saw Spectre before, you would pick Alchemist because he's a hero that, with just a little of space, reaches his, how should I say it, like endgame peak the fastest. So he hits these timings before these heroes like Anti-Mage and Spectre are ready. Of course, like recent times, Alchemist is just like brain dead, pick him and win. But like,
Well, luckily
traditionally,
some of those nerfs exist.
And like you mentioned before, the 2 supports like Monkey King, Shadow Shaman, not the most damage between them. Alchemist at one point, like he gets to a point where they're not going to be able to touch him, and okay, that's the solution right there, I guess. OG goes for a Timber Saw.
I think there's an Alchemist safe lane. I'm not sure on it, but I think that's how OG ran in one game, right?
Yeah, they did put it safe lane
yeah.
on No-Tail.
Yeah. And in the other game, they put it mid. So
Yes.
it can at least go to either lane. You see the Timbersaw, it's a pretty rough matchup in mid. I think if you put these 2 heroes in a pure 1v1 now, because of before it was like Alchemist could sort of survive, but he'd be super vulnerable to ganks and get out CS. Now with the Acid Spray, I think Timbersaw wins the lane pretty hard.
But with CM Aura, maybe it helps a little bit.
Yeah.
This helps a bit.
The extra Acid Spray really does matter, especially with a small one. Good point. Although no one expects Ras to run out and shackle you. That always gets kills in my pubs. I see Fox like winking because I know he's ran up to people in my pubs and just shackled them.
I mean, it's the greatest feeling ever.
It is.
Like,
Yeah.
No
one ever
this
expects
Rasta
this
gang.
285 movement speed Rasta to leave his lane.
You're level 3, but you have 2 in shackle. You just hold him forever. It's great. Great hero.
So just a fun couple of facts for you for Team Rand. They haven't won with a Night Stalker in the lineup since 7.0 launch. They haven't won in a lineup with an Alchemist in since 7.0.
And that's a long time. That's a lot of games.
Experimentation.
Yeah,
In the first round
In
of
the
knockout
first round of
stages
knockouts.
of a major, why not?
Single elimination.
Yeah.
That's where we practice our
Yeah,
stuff. We're talking about the group
no.
stage. Here's where we're going to test our stuff.
Stress!
Wings like, I don't care about testing in groups. I'm going to test it right now.
One of the interesting things, I'm surprised how far Legion Commander got through. A lot of people have been playing that. A lot of people have been praising that hero as one of the first. Obviously, it's been one of the quick bans and almost one of the first picks in a lot of cases.
Especially on OG.
Yeah.
I think OG is one of the teams that started first picking that hero like the fastest.
Do you think that they've taken the view that they have no idea what random we're going to draft and therefore will react to it rather than pick the kind of things that we want to pick early and let them counter it?
That would sort of make sense for picking your 2
Yeah.
supports first. Because worst case scenario, your supports get countered, you can still make good plays through the early game and have your supports have that impact. But if your cores get countered, there are games where you can't have impact. We saw that in like maybe the OD versus Medusa last game. The OD is playing fantastically, but at the end of the day, he's versus Medusa.
They go for Enigma.
Yeah,
Enigma for OG.
I've really liked the Bloodseeker band, by the way. It's extremely good versus the Timber Saw, and it's something that Team Random actually does love to run versus it. It's like
One of their
a
old
lot of the
signatures.
times.
I
yeah.
feel like it's something.
One of the few.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something Team Random has run with Alchemist too.
Yeah.
And maybe they didn't win the game, but it's looked pretty scary, like the Bloodseeker specifically.
Okay, so what do they surprise us with now? With a little over 30 seconds remaining to pick their final pick in the first game of the round of 16 knockouts.
I'm watching as a spectator. I don't even know what role they need.
I don't either.
You look at all
I
four of
don't
those
know.
heroes and you're just like,
Legitimately,
No idea.
Yeah, they
What-
could have they could have any role.
Okay.
all right.
Okay, thank you. I
Pick
still
up a
don't know
Weaver,
what the
that's a
roles
little
are.
bit,
Just
a little bit more standard, I would guess.
It's a Faith Beyond Night Stalker. I think.
Alchemist with Weaver, the Aghanims time lapse.
That is good.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that beats the 8 seconds Raster Shack.
Yeah, in order to get out of the black hole as well, you can always just like time lapse if the Alchemist is on the high ground sieging. So pretty interesting.
Very fun draft indeed, as we've come to expect from Team Random, which means I now have to put all 3 men on the spot for predictions.
I think I got.
How much fun are you guys having now?
How random is this? You know, I have a lot of faith, especially the S4 Enigma. I think I'm going to have to go with the OG on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with OG as well, but that's probably because I don't know what Random are doing. I have no idea how to do it. Like,
that's as good a reason as any.
It's so hard for me to comprehend their draft because I feel like they lack a lot of things, but I looked at some of their TI6 drafts and they just dominated with those, but I'm still going with OG.
Okay.
I'm going to go OG as well. I love S4's Enigma. I think he's been playing it at one of the best next to Kezu, and I think the hero is actually just really powerful.
Okay. I think I kind of expected that to be the way it went in the end, and it is OG clean sweep as far as the predictions are concerned. But what's it going to be in the game? Let's head back to the arena and back to our commentary team, this time led by the one and only Capitalist.
If you hadn't watched much Dota since the International, you would be forgiven to think that this is actually the grand final matchup. After all, on one side, you have a multi-major champion team facing up against the recent TI winners. Unfortunately, after this match, one of these teams is going to be eliminated from the Kiev Major, and it's actually the TI champs who probably come in here the underdogs, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a fairly tough group stage. They got a lot of 1-2s, 2-1s kind of area, but it's going to be a tough match. And OG doesn't fit me with the same confidence that they did not even 3 weeks ago. After the DAC loss, where they clearly had troubles against IG, they haven't quite looked the same. And we'll see how the draft works out here.
What do you think about the draft? Because I'm feeling like I'm looking at Team Random. They ran one Alchemist in the group stage, and they lost against the counterpick Timbersaw, and I see the same exact thing here from OG. They counterpick with the Timbersaw, and also, just to add a little bit of flavor on top of that, they have an Enigma too.
Yeah, but the difference is that the Enigma was always paired with the Naga Siren for it to be super effective. So I'm very curious to see how S4 plays it in this game in comparison to the last one. And the other important thing is because of the Weaver pick, that means they can ditch their carry a lot, and their supports can actually pressure the mid lane. So that's maybe where it could work for Team Random.
I think one of the interesting things is we may see a potential early Aghanim Scepter passed away, because we do have this Weaver, right? And the Aghanim Scepter is probably one of the most value ones here. He's already going to have issues against some of these heroes, so will Leshrac, for mentioning that. He's also kind of counterpicked, right? Leshrac going up against the Spectre, that's also going to be dangerous. I feel like many of these cores from Team Random are going to have survivability problems against the OG lineup.
Yeah, that's absolutely a possibility. Time-lapse Ags is fantastic. The only downside is it always has to be the Alk in the front line getting hit. But they have great Ags heroes to put that on. Night Stalker could be really crucial this game as well. Very good at spotting out enemy heroes. They can see where the Black Hole's going to come from, where the Monkey King is. Things like that could change the fight if they initiate properly.
We were having that conversation during the draft. How do you feel about the Night Stalker being picked up against the Monkey King? Do you feel like the vision offered is actually going to be a suitable, let's say, soft counter against the Monkey King?
Yeah, I think it's pretty effective. I feel like most of that's going to come down to things like whether Monkey split pushes, or especially fights around Roche, or where it's going to be the most impactful in my opinion. But yeah, if you spot him out, disable him up there, prevent him from leaping maybe, and cut the tree, yeah, absolutely will be huge. But it still will be a delay until he gets the Ag. He'll most likely have to farm it himself, because Alex got to buy like at least 4 or 5 items before he starts pulling Ags. And at that point, if Night Stalker doesn't have it, yeah, he'll get it first. But that's going to be at least 30 minutes into the game.
Man, it really is Team Random. You're talking about their variety in hero picks. Jarek's going to pop out as a courier and start laying into Shadow, doing the simple zoning that only Monkey King is capable of with level 1 Jingu Mastery.
And I do like his starting item build here. Some monkeys were starting Poor Man's Shield even at the end of DAC, but now Orb of Venom has just seemed to be way too important. And going back into the better skill, really, Jingu Mastery, like you're going to get 4 hits in most cases with the Orb of Venom, and that makes sure that nobody can trade with you, even if you have no armor. Stout Shield gives you enough.
Yeah, especially an Alchemist, right? Not really known to be a heavy hitter in the beginning of the game, so Shadow's just going to have nothing, pretty much, in this laning phase until Monkey King eventually leaves him. Meanwhile, bottom lane, we do have S4's Enigma, who's granted a 1v1 against the Weaver, which I imagine won't be too terrible for him, as Random are actually going to be running an aggressive tri-lane. Crystal Maiden, Lashrak, Ice seems to be kind of wandering around, might be dealing with Jarek's right now, but there is a lot of threat on the table, it seems, for to deal with the Spectre in the laning phase.
Yeah, the Crystal Maiden and the Lesh actually did smoke to the top lane at the start of the laning stage. Like after the Bounty Rune kind of a timing, didn't get a kill, and now he's got to go mid because the Alk was having such a hard time there. So Faith Beyond will have a pretty good lane with the 2v2 here, and CM will do her best to interrupt Fly. Fly's ability to get last hits and pulls off, but I think the start that Monkey King created for Ana was already a huge advantage.
Get him, Ice Ice. Lay down.
Disco Pony?
Yeah,
oh,
Disco
man.
Pony, baby.
I'm really curious to see how the Lesh works out this game as well. Hasn't been, I think this is the first Lesh pick of the tournament. He's being played as a support. And historically, the way Lesh works is you either become a core or you chain feed mercilessly because you don't have the items, you don't have the HP. But I'm curious to see how well Diabolic Edict works. It's a great ability for trading. It's going to be really effective actually against JRX. Not to mention he can also break trees with Split Earth to try to catch Monkey King. So there's some cool things about it. Not to mention the Alk Eggs pool that could eventually come. Could be impactful. Might feed. We'll see.
That's probably going to be like a super late game pickup if we see it all, right? There's probably going to be some. What do you think is the highest priority Aghanim Scepter? You think it's a Weaver, or do you think it's like Night Stalker?
I mean, like I said, if Night Stalker doesn't have it yet, you give it to Night Stalker, but I think Weaver's easily the best one just because the stats are perfect. The hero just wants to get more tanky so he can time-lapse himself, and then now he can start time-lapsing Alchemist, anybody else that gets engaged on. So definitely Weaver #1.
Wine's going to be playing off of the off-lane jungle, it appears, and is going to be kind of bouncing back and forth between this top lane. They want to make sure that No-Tail is not able to get much out of this laning phase because, as we talked about, the Spectre should be able to make a lot of damage happen to these enemy supports. They should just be kind of like constantly being fed away to this Spectre if she can have a good start and actually start this game with a lead. Mid, again, Shadow going to be threatened by Ana. He's having a great start, 21-4 on the CS chart compared to the 14-0 of Shadow.
And he's still last hitting very well despite the Lashback sitting mid for the last few minutes. Ice Ice with 1 point Edict, 1 point in stun, but it's just so difficult to actually deal with Ana or zone him for Ice Ice. So I feel like in some ways he's just hurting Shadow's experience gain, but I think that's all right because really Alchemist is about the farm a little bit more than the experience.
You know what I noticed is No-Tail is, they're actually going to have a go here onto Faith Beyond. Faith Beyond going to throw out that nuke onto Fly, trying to get away, but it looks like there's just going to be too much slow for him. The 4-minute rune, or nighttime is coming up, but it's not going to be fast enough. Fly is going to be the one who picks up the first blood, hopefully getting him some much-needed boots.
Yeah, he went for the safe play there. He maybe could have done an Ether Shock to get the kill, but opted to go for Shackles instead to guarantee it. That's why he was just simply walking instead of auto-attacking. And a really nice pickup to start the game. It is first nighttime, though, so it's going to be a bit easier for Faith Beyond. And he picked up level 4 in the first 1 minute.
Ice Ice. He thought he was going to be able to wrap around and catch out S4, but JRX TP's in, immediately spots him while sitting on top of the trees, and they jump down to claim the second kill of the game.
It's just the Lesh problem, basically. If they go on you, they're going to know that your stun's coming, and the delay is so big. So straightforward kill to kill Lesh.
Blink is beginning to pick up a little bit better CS. Early on, he was actually suffering against the Enigma and the power of the Eidolons, but it appears now he's got enough threatening power that Enigma won't really be able to stay in lane too much against that Weaver. The combination of physical damage and the swarm just taken away on you seems to be too much, so it seems like S4 is actually going to play jungle a little bit more.
Yeah, this is the right thing to do. I actually played this matchup a couple days ago, maybe a week ago on the Enigma, and you do have to be careful around those 4 to 6 levels if supports rotate in and he gets bugs on you. He actually can kill you quite rapidly, not to mention easily pick off Eidolons. So the longer you stay in the lane, yeah, you're going to deny some experience, but you can't feed Eidolons and give him those kill potentials. So it's just much safer for Enigma to hit up the jungle. And he's actually not going to go for the Midas build, surprisingly. He was one of the first players I saw start this trend, but looks like he's going back towards standard. Maybe OG did a lot of thinking about Midas the last couple days.
Yeah, it seems like they were investing pretty heavily in the Midas' group stage. No-Tail, silenced up, slowed down, not able to get off the Spectral Dagger just yet. Finally gets it away into the trees and will manage to get out. No-Tail, once again, dealing with the pressure very well. I've noticed this about him. He always gets his CS, and he seems to always be able to survive through these games. What a cheeky little play here from Ice Ice. I wonder how long it's going to be until OG notices what's happening.
Oh, he's doing this?
He's sticking around. He's going to stay here and Diabolic Edict this mid tower away. And this is an incredibly important tower to keep healthy.
This is an older trick. I mean, I saw this on Reddit like months ago, but this is a pro game, man. Like, he's like, all right, surely that was actually like the tower's full HP. He just did 1,000 damage to this. Was this 2 Diabolic Edicts?
Oh, man. I wish we could get the audio in the booth once, like, OG realized.
If they even realized, they didn't move for it or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this was Jarek's rotating over, but that's so big. That's so abusable.
The wrap here from OG onto the mid lane. Y is going to show himself, immediately going to be pounced on, and shouldn't have much of a chance here, especially with Fly able to secure the kill. That being said, both Weaver and Nightstalker on their way, and they're very mobile heroes, but S4 can turn things around. He managed to get a 3-man ulti with the follow-up from Anna. They're going to be able to take all these kills. S4 comes in big time and says, I do not need a Naga Siren to set me up. S4 runs right into Ice, though. Maybe he can get at least one turnaround kill with the help of Innocence as he's back to life. A small bit of vengeance for Team Random, but it won't outdo the damage done in a big sweep by OG in that mid lane.
Man, 3 heroes in a black hole at 7 minutes. That's just amazing. And things looked pretty bad for OG there. Jarek didn't get his Jingu mastery from the CM kill. He was about to get the hit off. He didn't. Anna got very low. But that black hole, man, what a tempo setter. Who cares about the tower at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. OG asserting their dominance, bringing so many heroes to the mid lane to ensure they have a successful fight against that Alchemist, start shutting him down.
And it was so early, too. That's the best thing you can do. Hit 6, use Black Hole, wait it out, and they're going to get the tower.
And it's the first nighttime. Yep. Ice.
They just
They
figured it out.
pop it now. Anna's like, oh, Jesus. My tower's almost dead. It's going to go into deny range here pretty quick. Top lane, Innocence, tries to go on to Fly here. No Tail kind of intercepting Faith Beyond, and
that tower's dead.
Yeah.
It's got 43 HP left. That's actually insane. They just realized it right there. Ice wasn't too greedy the first time. He did 2 edicts. But, I mean, it's early game, right? Towers are going to get attacked. Your eyes aren't going to be everywhere. The game says your tower's under attack. Who cares? Oh, some tower took 1 hit, right? That's what you expect. And instead, they just lose a tower at the start of the game when they're losing. It's insane.
Look at this. You see S4. He was coming in nice and early. He sees this fight. He sees the TPs, and he's like, oh, baby.
The way he approached was so smart, and going through the trees.
Right. Making sure that he was out of vision for as long as humanly possible until it was just too late.
And they found the Weaver there. They didn't even realize they caught him. That was a 2-man black hole for them. They got the extra surprise at the end. Here comes the hype. There it is. What a beautiful black hole.
Another thing to talk about, that was the first nighttime of the Nightstalker. Can't say that I was super successful for Team Random. I kind of feel like with this off-lane Nightstalker, first time nighttime can kind of go awry. It's okay, but it's second time nighttime that really needs to feel the pressure of the off-lane Nightstalker. Oh, they're actually going to try and jump in for this one. Fly is going to be stopped here, unable to complete the shackles, and now we'll have the full heal from Blink as they pick up that support. No Tail is deep behind the tower. He's going to TP away, so it looks like OG may just have to give up this safe lane tower, but if you look at the other sides of the map, bottom lane being controlled by S4, mid being pressured by Anna. It's completely okay to abandon this safe lane at this point for OG.
They're going to try to kill Alchemist maybe. No, maybe not. Jarek's just hopping down. Ultimate used.
Okay, they're still going to go for it. Jarek's, he has the ultimate too. He's going to lay it down. They're going to get a lot of damage on his shell. Can they finish him off in time? They will, and it doesn't look like there's going to be much of a rebuttal from Team Random. They just can't seem to bring the numbers there. They're already committed at the top lane, so OG starts striking on that mid tower.
Man, it was actually so fortunate for OG that their mid wasn't Timbersaw, a typical offlane hero, because if that tower goes down, when it does, and you're playing Alina or something, it becomes so easy to gank you. But instead, he can actually just frontline, still push this tower, and equalize that deficit.
Jarek's seeing if he can maybe catch another Team Random member as they get a bit too close to that tower, but it does go down. The added plus side, right? Their tower did go down early, but they managed to deny it.
Yeah.
OG just picked up Team Random's tower and claimed the full bounty. So OG really not missing much of a beat here.
But it feels pretty good for Random as well, though. Like I pointed out earlier, Weaver's so good at just solo pushing lanes and being survivable while he does it. He can sit top lane for a long time. He does have to worry about things like Shadow Shaman, Black Hole, stuff like that, but there's not that many disables, so outside of Shadow Shaman, I think he'll be fairly safe to keep pushing this. OG's going to continue the tempo, though. They need to offset the tower advantage that Random got.
No Tail's going to try and stand in front of Blink's push at the top lane while they claim the bottom tier 1. No contest from Team Random.
Yeah. I mean, they've got Black Hole up. Does he have his Midas coming now on Enigma? He does? Okay, so he still goes Midas. Just picks up the Ring of Regen first. I feel like maybe if the game was a bit different, he might have gone back for Mech, or this is just casual Ring of Regen.
Rotations back by OG. It's
Kind of a big show of force to TP the Enigma there within vision.
Yeah.
A little surprised, but maybe this is done also so that they don't feel comfortable ganking Spectre. I mean, he could rotate over, obviously, but he'd rather just AFK jungle, not use Black Hole, force his opponents to leave. So maybe that's why he did it with such vision. Teams do intentionally show sometimes like that.
And I feel like another big thing is that OG, they're not really too concerned about playing more of a static game, right? Like most of the time you're against this Alchemist, you feel pressured. Like you want to be able to end the game pretty quickly. But in a game like this, you're actually looking at OG's lineup. They've got a great late game hero in Spectre. They've got a great farming hero in the Enigma. Timbersaw, Monkey King, Shadow Shaman are all going to scale decently well into the mid game as well. So, you know, for them, it's like they don't really need to really be all that aggressive and hunting down these heroes. They're actually pushing into pretty deep into Team Random side of the map, despite it being nighttime, just feeling that apparently their format is just stronger, no matter what, even if it is to the advantage of the Night Stalker right now. They're going to jump on a Blink, maybe trying to force out his ultimate, doesn't actually go for it, while Fly's picked up by Ice and Faith Beyond.
That's going to be a little tough. He's going to have to go back and heal, but I think it was a good choice not to use it there, just because there could be a fight in the next 20, 30 seconds. Time-lapse level 1, 60-second cooldown is pretty big, actually. But with the Shrine not having regen, maybe it wasn't worth it after all. They're trying to get No-Tail. This is the person to gank right now.
Oh, that'd be perfect. They've got the silence on him before the dagger. There's really not much No-Tail can do here. They still have the follow-up disable coming out from the Crystal Main. He'll be able to take that kill. Nice jump away from Blink there towards the tail end, but it does look like Faith Beyond's going to go down to Ana, and Y probably not going to make it out either. Run over by Ana with a Chakram. Last one, Ice. Turns around, Jerix not following into Ice's stun, so neither one of those two supports will end up falling.
Very close. Anna's been using his Timber skills perfectly. Like, chasing heroes like that, when they know that they can see you, it can be difficult to land your abilities. This guy seems completely up to speed on Timber.
He's going to have a nice and early Bloodstone. He really won't be dying anytime soon with that.
The hood pickup is going to be great. There is a good amount of physical damage coming from random. You know, things like Diabolic Edict, Weaver right clicks, Acid Spray, and Alk right clicks. But it's going to be a while until the physical is actually scary.
It's going to be a little bit earlier because Weaver's actually not going to be going straight into a Deso after the Dragonlance. He's going to take the earlier stop into a Medallion. We've seen this a number of times. Jerix, a little bit spotted out there.
Are you thinking they'll go all the way for Solar Crest as well, or do you?
I'm thinking maybe just because they're going to have such a... They need to actually have teamfight potential right now, so waiting until the Desolator doesn't really sound like they're just going to miss a timing and OG's just going to be too strong, right? They're going to have Radiance by the time you have Desolator potentially.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Alchemist is going to finish Radiance way before Weaver would finish it as well, while grabbing your typical Dragonlance, tanky item kind of thing. So I actually like this a lot, especially when you think about how Alk might turn Weaver into a 4-ish position typical Weaver where you sit back and time-lapse the guy. Right. You know, going for a fast Solar Crest could genuinely make Alk unkillable in the early game if there wasn't so much magic and pure damage on OG's side.
And it's going to cost him a lot of HP and all of his mana, but he will take this Ancient Stack away from Team Random. Meanwhile, Random were actually smoked out, pushing into OG's jungle. Haven't really found much with it yet. It looks like they're going to be able to catch S4 here, slow him down, but the TPs are going to be coming in. Is it worth it to be able to chase down this kill? They're immediately going to be stunned up. Two-man stun by Jerix. Faith Beyond is gone already. They pop out the time lapse from Blink as he runs himself away, but once again, Y is going to be the leftovers. He's the extra kill that Timbersaw, or actually No-Tail, will be able to claim instead. That is actually great. The Spectre could use a little bit of boost in net worth at this time.
I mean, the Enigma kill's great and all, but it seemed very, very, very over-eager there to go for that dive.
Yeah.
Especially with Haunt, like Spectre's always going to be there, and all it really takes is maybe one more hero on top of that and you get a kill.
Oh, Jesus. Blink with this extra minus armor almost finishes off Fly despite an instant TP from the Shadow Shaman.
That hero does not have a lot of armor. No. Very good base strength, actually. One of the very interesting fact about the hero. Normally seen as squishy, but...
Got to do something to compensate for that incredibly slow movement speed.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Oh, good luck, Shadow. That one's going to have to pay for that one.
Jerix is being quite the nuisance for this Monkey King. We talked about how Monkey King's laning phase can kind of be hit or miss, and I feel like Jerix has kind of done everything he needed to so far. They're going to try and slow down Shadow here.
He's
Jerix,
messing with them.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to like make them a little bit scared. He's actually going to throw out the ultimate. Now the heroes are coming in soon. No Tail throws out the dagger. Shadow is pretty tanky. He does have that armlet to be able to toggle on and off, but the Urn is on top of him now. They do have Y trying to slow down these heroes, but ends up getting cut down nonetheless. No Tail in some trouble. Double control. He's going to fall, and Anna actually misses his chain, and the magic damage just rips him apart. S4 is here, though, and he does have an Imba's room, but it looks like he's just not going to be in position for a good black hole. The damage is no longer there, and OG are just falling apart now. A team fight turns terrible for them, and they're going to be able to wipe every single member of OG.
Man, OG, they really thought they had that, and Jerix did such a good job slowing down the Alchemist, doing the first disable, jumping back into the tree, then going for the ulti stun, but they just didn't kill him in time, and they overestimated how much damage they would do, whether or not they'd be able to kill the Alch, and they did all this chasing, very long chase, and in front of an enemy tower. Random played great there to basically just chain disable their opponents, and No Tail maybe was the first domino falling in that giant cascade of OG feeding.
This is something that is going to be unique for both the teams. We don't normally see this, but both teams have a support that actually puts a lot of pressure on towers. So when you lose a fight like this, it's actually so much more than your regular game of Dota, because we're going to have this Lashrak or this Shadow Shaman being able to push down some of these tier 2s nice and quick when you lose fights like this.
They almost didn't even get Shadow there. He had to go for an armlet toggle, but the Urn and maybe some of the Spectre reflection damage guaranteed his death, and Anna missing the Timber Chain. Maybe hits it, maybe he still lives, not sure, but...
Yeah, he didn't even pop his hood there.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake for sure.
I'm sure he still dies either way. But.
Yeah, most likely. Buys his team maybe a couple more seconds. Very smart for Blink to hit the back line rather than going on the guaranteed dead targets. They just played that fight perfectly, but it certainly was OG getting overly aggressive. They could have played a little bit more safe there. Maybe they feel like they have to pressure because they know the Alch Radiance is almost up, and I guess they did delay it for a bit, but it's flying out now.
And we actually have Blink not completing the Solar Crest, instead picking up a Diffuser Blade. I thought if he wasn't going to get the Solar Crest, then maybe the Lincolns would be an idea, but...
this is great. I like it. I mean, if he goes Solar Crest, his damage is just going to be real mediocre, and it's only good if he uses the Solar Crest. And there's enough magic damage where it might not even keep him alive. He had to get at least one more damage item before going back from it. Diffusal is one of the best items on Weaver right now, just because it drains 50 mana per auto attack. So with Geminate, he's going to be able to rip through Spectre, Enigma, Timbersaw as well.
Yeah, Timbersaw could have some mana problems because of that one. Jerix, quick jump away, but they may still be able to catch him out. Faith Beyond does have the vision. They'll be able to stop the TP with the Void. So now with that pickoff, turn your eyes towards objectives. What's it going to be? Team Random funneling into the Roshan pit. Yeah, they're going to try and claim an Aegis here, and I don't think OG can do too much about it. Monkey King is probably one of their best heroes for being able to fight around the Roshan pit. So him being the pickoff kind of works out perfectly to Team Random's favor.
Yeah, so Aegis goes towards Random right now. Big tempo keeps happening. Like you said, the Leshrac gives them towers, and the Medallion plus the Acid Spray. It's so much physical damage that they can take Roche really easily.
There is such a big power spike for Team Random at this point. Like, they've got their Radiance, and we have that Diffuse Blade for Blink. They have an Aegis. It seems like Night Stalker, I think, like, this is one of his stronger periods of time. Obviously, the next one's going to be when he has Aghanim Scepter. Meanwhile, you look at OG, they still don't have that Radiance for Spectre. They don't even have the Relic yet. So they don't even want to get into fights, because if they do and they potentially lose it, then it's going to be the Radiance completely stalled out, and Spectre just won't be much of a hero for another 10-15 minutes.
So maybe OG mis-expected their tempo a bit. Perhaps Enigma shouldn't have gone Midas. Midas is so good on Enigma right now, but maybe he should have skipped it, because the last couple of fights just went a little sloppy. If he had a Blink Dagger, maybe he'd get there faster, or a mech, maybe he turns that fight around if he was there a bit earlier. But instead, OG lost a lot of tempo in that last fight, losing the Monkey King, losing the Roshan. It's looking quite good for Random. I do like how the Night Stalker is functioning this game, though. Normally, we just see it against a Caudal, for example, but just being able to reduce your opponent's vision, especially like a Monkey King's, or any heroes, when you're Roshing is amazing. Vision controls like everything in the Rosh pit, so I think the Night Stalker's going to work out really well. He's going to build a Vlad's next, so yeah, he's going to let Shadow buy him the Ags later.
All right, I'm down to see that. He's going to go the full typical Naga Siren, Radiance, Illusion build.
Yeah, normally an OG thing.
Farm, and speaking of that, though, do you think Team Random should have any more Hanamitises, like for example the Leshrac or something, because Alchemist is going to be taking up so much space? Or is it the fact that he can give away the Aghanim Scepter that it's in some ways acceptable to be a little bit under-farmed when Alchemist is taking so much space?
I'm not too concerned about, I mean, a lot of these heroes, Midas is very difficult to handle. Leshrac absolutely doesn't profit from it. CM maybe does in a strong way naturally, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, there is less farm, but I think just Night Stalker alone is a healthy fit for Random. They don't want to get too far behind, and they want to make sure they win all their fights, and actual items do that a lot better.
OG are still trying to pressure here. Shadow takes a lot of damage. That is
he
able to finish him off. Chakram is going to be enough. Now, Ana is in deep, though. He already has the weed bug. Yeah, he's gone. Bugs are on top of him. It's too much for him to handle. They're going to be able to clean up the wards as well, which is basically another hero bounty.
Yeah.
If you're able to get the last hit on all of those.
They missed about half, so I think OG getting some advantage in that fight, I guess. But killing the Aegis is huge. Ana definitely could have suicided, should have suicided, but gives a bit more gold to his opponents. And a little farm comparison here. S4, way higher farm, but no surprise there in the slightest. One of the best farming heroes.
Unable to get away here. Gets perched up, unable to jump to the trees before the damage takes him.
That was punishing as well. He was at 1350 gold towards his Midas, so it's like getting killed right before your relic. Tough for Monkey King.
Got a double damage for Blink too. So this is go time for Team Random.
And even Ice is feeling confident pushing lanes. Leshrac is amazing at that. So OG consistently has to just counter push lanes, put their tanky heroes in the front, and hope they can be the ones that can survive any pressure, as Random just farms the greater half of the map.
Yeah, it's funny how confident their supports feel to be able to push out lanes or be isolated in some way against a Spectre.
Yeah, that is weird, actually.
You see, like, Crystal Bane just kind of like hanging out on the opposite side of the map here. I'm a little bit surprised that they're not making a go of pushing into one of these tier 2s. Do you think it's just because Team Random want to make sure they get into that Naga Siren Alchemist build first?
I think it's because it's just a little dangerous to fight. I mean, if they just control the map, I think they're already going to feel Fly is going to most likely die here.
Yeah, they seem like well-positioned to be able to get a lot of pickoffs. Blink may actually be in some trouble because Jarex is going to be able to come with the additional stun and finish him off. That's a 900 gold bounty for Jarex. He gets his hand of back immediately. Now, they still managed to finish up Fly. Looks like the Bugs managed to finish him off just in time. But that Weaver bounty was huge for OG.
They almost didn't get the kill, too. It came down to right clicks from a Timber Saw. Monkey King, that extra range on Monkey actually saved that gank. And now the tempo changes a bit, but some top pressure. Ooh, they do get Leshrac stun, though. He's interrupted. And Haunt used as well. Fights everywhere, though.
Yeah, that's going to be an easy pickup. Ice definitely dead. Ana starting to recover those Bloodstone charges. The Tier 3 did take a serious amount of damage, goes down to about 1,000 HP. That's something that OG are going to have to keep their mind on, especially when the Alchemist split push really comes to the fore.
Did he notice the tree shake here? Jarex is taking so much damage, actually, from this. From acid radiance. Increased cooldown on Chemical Rage absolutely can matter. It's a bigger timing windows that you can kill Alch, so if you just keep an eye on him and you know about when it's going to run out, it can be really good for taking fights. But I do feel like Random didn't really want to force 5v5s because OG still does have really good fights. Obviously, they had a Radiance advantage, but get the right Black Hole off and everything changes. And S4 is ready to do that now. He's got Black King Bar and he has a Blink Dagger on top of it. So now it comes down to very, very careful positioning for Random.
Yeah, they've got actually nothing to deal with that. Nothing to stop the Black Hole, and really all we could potentially see ever is them actually getting that Aghanim Scepter on Weaver. I think that's the only saving grace. They will never be able to get a stun to stop this Enigma.
Yeah, I guess they won't, actually. And it was a last pick Enigma, so not too surprising for a team to not have a counter there. But this is the important timing. BKB Blink. Everything from here on out is going to be luxury items. He is still very, very vulnerable to physical damage. That's maybe the better counter they have right now. Weaver's on the other side, wailing away on the guy, and maybe he's got bugs on himself already. He could die rapidly.
Second tier 2 tower being threatened here. They managed to get the bugs out. Jarex is going to be caught. He's brought down from the tree. They'll be able to take out that support instantly. Now the magic damage coming in. Ana might not be able to escape this one. Ice already positioning himself to catch Ana as he jumps to the tree and is going to be forced into a Bloodstone suicide. OG were split pushing out the side lanes, but they lost Monkey King and probably much more importantly that Timbersaw getting dropped down to 6 Bloodstone charges. That is going to really hurt because I don't think we still feel the Spectre carry just yet. Yeah. You know, it's still Timbersaw who's got to carry that burden.
and it's very reliant on him using Haunt. Anything other than that, and he's going to look even squishier than the Timber is.
Yeah.
I mean, Anna's looks like he knows how to play Timber extremely well, but the heroes and the damage types that Random are throwing out are becoming extremely effective. And it's not just that, it's also the Night Stalker silence that lasts for 7 seconds at nighttime. That's very difficult to deal with for Timbersaw pre his Lotus Orb.
I like this choice of the Lotus against that silence, as well as potentially now like the Yules of Ice, so he's not going to be set up essentially for that split Earth.
There's a lot of things you can remove. Frostbite's a huge skill that you can just fully counter. They might catch the Crystal Maiden. They spot him out, actually.
But can they get a stun in time? Yep, Jerix is there. No problem.
2 heroes, very eager to kill that Crystal Maiden. Got him pretty fast, so. Kill happens, pressure will continue. No-Tail's going to push out the bot lane. This is perfect setup here for OG, really. No-Tail can push this without any threat to his team taking a bad fight. Haunt's ready to go.
No, let Fly have this gold. He's getting real close to that Blink Dagger, and that would be a nice additional threat to be able to catch that Weaver.
Oh, Fly Blink, okay.
Yeah. Because then, like, it's not even like Lincoln's going to really save you, right?
Yeah.
It's just, they pop the Hex,
Hex Shackle, yeah. Especially if he goes for the extra Shackle duration. It might be the really good game for it, honestly. I've actually been thinking about the Shadow Shaman level 15 talent. What do you think? 100 range or 35% experience?
I'm feeling the experience just because the level 20 talent is so good.
The 25 is good, too. I love that. I've never gotten the 25, but 350 Ether Shock damage. That's like a Laguna Blade every 8 seconds or something. It's insane.
That final Eidolon claiming the tier 2 bounty.
So Random going to push out the map a little bit now that they're back respawned. It is Night Stalker night, actually, so another vision advantage. Any pull dags yet? Nope. One more item for Alchemist, and then it's time to start collecting that stuff.
They'll hit this really nice peak, I think. They get this Aghanim Scepter, they start passing them around. They get one on Weaver, one on Night Stalker. They'll have a Night Stalker, BKB as well.
They got Timber spotted. Great stun.
Beautiful setup. They already have the silence there as well to be able to slow down. But S4 with the BKB is trying to come in, but wasn't able to use his Blink to be able to set things up. No-Tail comes back in. It looks like they will manage to take out Ice. Blink with the BKB has to run away from S4 to make sure he doesn't get caught in the BKB. Shadow actually came in from the right-hand side here, trying to lay hands on Anna, but it's just a bit too tanky, and they seem to be lacking the follow-up support. So Team Random back away.
That was so sick from Innocence there that he swung all the way to the right side and drops the Crystal Nova right before S4 popped BKB, stopping whatever opportunity he saw for the black hole. That was really well done. But the Soul Booster's picked up. Looks like Enigma's not going to go for the build that Kezu did the other day, which was Bloodstone immediately afterwards, which with the 40-second respawn perk at 20 gave him the instant respawn. But with that said, OG's not playing as much of a go high ground lineup. They're getting gone on mid, though.
Jumping on Fly, but Fly has already gotten the disables out. They're going to be able to catch the Weaver, and the aggression that from Team Random put out actually goes against them. They managed to get the jump in. S4 doesn't throw out the black hole. Team Random made the split just in time. Now wide, lays out his ultimate, immediately stopped by Jerix. Ice comes in. Yule Scepter set up the split Earth. They need to be able to finish off S4 to make sure there is no play there with the black hole. Shadow still gets stunned, but it looks like they will manage to pick up Jerix as an additional kill. This time around, Team Random's aggression works out, even if they did lose the Weaver.
That was a tough one. It looked really good for OG, but all of a sudden their HP just got lower and lower and lower. And even killing the Weaver in the first place was weird. Oh no, Spectre gets caught at the secret shop.
Oh no, they can't afford to lose their Spectre like this, but Spectre's actually fighting out. Can he actually fight through all this damage? He gets Ice, but he dies to Faith Beyond.
Ice making a lot of huge plays there. Spectre just walking up to go buy some items. And
can they actually kill Anna here? The Lotus Orb, that's going to make things difficult for Shadow. Bing, boom, gets knocked right back. Faith Beyond can't really help out. One Chakram, he'd probably be dead. So Shadow with the quick retreat. And 19-20, 30 minutes in. This is actually a pretty even game right now. If you look at some of the gold earned and stuff like that, we have an experience lead of 2,500 for Team Random, 10K lead as well, but that's an Alchemist lead, right? I would say this game is kind of like 50-50.
Yeah, absolutely is right now. Could go both ways. I still think everybody on each team is playing fantastic. They're all doing their roles correctly. Night Stalker has been making the game really tough for a lot of heroes as well. Heroes that need to cast their spells just constantly silenced. BKB's up for him with the Vlad, so he's just going to run in and hit people. This guy's a carry now, might as well be.
Team Random setting up, defending their tier 2. OG just chasing down Alchemist Illusions, wanting to be able to limit the efficiency of farm there for the Alch. He still needs to be able to pass out those Aghanim Sifter. I feel like those two Ags are when Team Random hits their strongest, and then maybe after that point, OG starts taking more and more of an advantage, simply because they have these great late game heroes.
It's definitely possible. I'm still worried about Leshrac having a huge impact as well. That guy's Ags is really good. It's like 2 extra skill points in your Pulse Nova, basically.
And he's farming really well, too. So he's going to have the other items to just back it up.
Atos at least is going to do some good work here.
Anna jumps forward, trying to chase Ice down. There goes S4 with a black hole. They manage to catch 2 members inside of that one. Night Stalker's going to go down pretty fast, and doesn't look like Alchemist is going to be able to survive either. The pure damage from Anna managed to finish him off. It looks like Faith Beyond runs away with his BKB. Y zoning the rest of OG out with his ultimate, but they still want to be able to chase down Faith Beyond. What a Timber Chain on through, almost catches Faith Beyond. They just need S4 to finish him off, and he'll get it with a nuke. Ice doesn't stand much of a chance to be able to finish off these heroes. They're too damn big. He's slowed down, chased down by Anna. Another 3 down for Team Random.
Very close team fight, but this time it looked a lot better for OG. They got their crucial ultimates off in the right way. The Plague, all the Serpent Wards got down. S4 was able to Black Hole Midnight Pulse on top of a BKB Night Stalker, a huge advantage, and on top of the Alchemist as well. So a lot of damage sources there for Random, just not able to do anything for the start of that fight.
Team Random, they do not want to be giving up this Aegis. That's why Blink is already in position to start threatening.
What a Blink.
Tries to go on S4, but great reaction from him.
He still has so many armor problems on S4. He needs a Shivas immediately after he finishes this Octarine, but OG gets here a little bit faster. Still dead heroes on Random, and they should be able to finish.
Just doesn't seem like they're going to be able to do much, so.
That's so good for No Tail here.
Spectre Aegis?
Yeah, absolutely. Just run in, man. Do something stupid. Wait to save your haunt. I love the Orb of Venom pickup as well. I think I don't know if it's bugged currently. It got changed, but your illusions actually do apply Orb of Venom. So every time he uses haunt, another small advantage in team fights.
You could see them trying to go on to Anna here, and him being able to get that Timber Chain off just kind of sets up S4 to get this beautiful black hole. And from there on out, there's not much they could do. Like, Blink is still trying to focus on Anna, and he's forced away through the use of his BKB. They really just like focus so heavily on this Timber Saw, and they didn't even really come close to bringing him down.
They did clear out the Monkey King pretty rapidly, at least. That was one really nice advantage for them. Night Stalker responsible for that one. But OG is going to be happy with that. Aegis up means Spectre is a lot harder to gank, and buys him more time to grab his next couple items. So at some point, that hero is going to just start going crazy.
We have these very big zones in these team fights that OG just kind of own. Not only do they have the black holes, so basically this AoE around the Enigma is just kind of like their ground constantly, but we're going to have that notorious Monkey King Basher coming in soon. And that's going to mean that ultimate is going to be, I would almost say, like doubly effective. Right?
Absolutely.
It's just like terrible walking into that and pretty much guaranteeing that you're going to be stunned multiple times.
It's an incredible BKB counter as well, because especially if you cast it in the right place and they combo with Black Hole like they did in the last fight, I don't even think the Monkey King would have died there. All he has to do is put it down, stay alive. That part's hard against things like Leshrac and BKB cores and Acid Spray, but that's another item OG maybe needs. A lot of armor ore items. Things like a Vlad's would be really effective as well. But it seems most of these guys are just building towards themselves and what they need right now. Makes a lot of sense. S4 actually going to pass up on an armor item. Going to go straight for a Refresher. Probably a good move. Black holes win games.
Absolutely, especially since we already talked about there's no real counter to him, so. Weaver pops out, looking to chase down that courier, won't be able to get it. Instead, will just challenge the creep wave as best he can. As it is, it does look like Team Random are kind of stuck. The Alchemist is now going back for a BKB. Faith Beyond forced to use the darkness there as an initiation comes out from Anna. Hold that range creep in place.
But OG is farming the map so much better right now. Obviously, Alka is going to be somewhere getting stuff, but
look at Anna, he just feels indestructible now. Maybe they can bring him down with 4. We'll see. He's already on the half HP. A fifth Mender comes in from Shadow, tries to man to dodge, doesn't work. Anna has overstayed his boundaries. Pushing in that mid lane so deep, that's nice. Creates a lot of space for the rest of OG, but can't afford to stick around too long.
Yeah, took a lot of spells to kill him, but another mistake, he didn't use Bloodstone, unless he's thinking about saving it. But I don't think it respawns you faster if you suicide. Am I mistaken on that one?
No, it doesn't. Maybe he, like, I think he might be onto something that he could save it, though, because being able to use it in the middle of a fight could actually be very valuable for No Tail.
Yeah,
simply
perhaps.
because he does have a harder carry on the field. You know?
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point.
I don't know. We'll see if that ever actually happens or not. Timbersaw is working towards an Aghanim Scepter, obviously going to be delayed a bit. Our Basher is almost here for the Monkey King, and No Tail, he is growing bigger and bigger. Butterfly is going to be up soon for him. At that point in time, it's one of those big tanky moments for the Spectre. Actually going to be teeping away right in front of Team Random. They are going to be able to get the stun in time. He's already down to half HP, but he does have the Aegis, and it doesn't look like Team Random think it's possible to be able to bring him down twice. In fact, they may just be caught up here. Blink is able to catch Fly on the background here, and Fate Beyond's coming in as well. They might be able to kill all the support heroes of this one. They do manage to get the Black Hole onto Shadow. Jarex is going to follow that up with an ultimate of his own, and Team Random aren't in a position to be able to find him. Fate Beyond immediately looks for Jarex, hopes to be able to bring him down as quick as possible. Will manage to take that kill, but now the second life of No Tail is going to play havoc. He's already throwing out his ultimate, looks to be able to catch Shadow, does claim him, manage to juke him out as the unstable concoction goes to the sun, cleans up Ice as well. Blink is having a happy time in the back line, just killing all the supports of OG, but it's the two big cores of OG, No Tail and Ana, that will remain indomitable.
Yeah, the fight was not the best coordination there from OG. The Black Hole was all right, but still a BKB hero, and there wasn't much follow-up, especially because No Tail was mostly respawning Aegis during the stun duration. So they were able to trade about even, which is all right, but considering how close this game is, I feel like OG should be able to take these victories with the better teamfight heroes. Like, once again, Monkey King is still being threatened and killed during the Monkey King ult due to the Night Stalker. Like, this BKB that Faith Beyond picked up is actually won so many team fights because it guarantees that they don't have to deal with Wukong's command for 10 seconds. And even Ana had to buy so many defensive items earlier in the game just because he was there's so many threats that he's just now picking up an Ags that probably would have made a big difference in some of those crucial kills too.
What do you think about this? The minus 10-second Spectral Dagger cooldown over the extra 400 health.
I think it's absolutely fine, honestly. Especially against like minus armor lineups, extra health is not that much better anyways. So, fight started, basically Shadow BK being ready to go. He wanted to save Spectre's life, but maybe not the right time to use that. And basically Spectre gets to do nothing in the fight other than respawn, and Monkey King getting picked off by the Night Stalker. It just made the fight very spread out, complicated, and difficult for OG to win one-sidedly.
It seems like because the way like Team Random are kind of building and the way they're kind of playing out some of these earlier night times, they seem comfortable, or at least okay, with going late game here. In your opinion, who really has the better late game? We consider like these Aghanim Scepter, which they have 4 of them, 4 actually really big upgrades. Even Crystal Maidens is really big when you get that AoE Frostbite.
Especially against like Haunt, you could trade ultimates really. They will be within the freezing field usually. Guaranteed to prevent those from attacking and moving. It's not the worst situation ever.
Yeah, it's a 4.5 second ensnare, right? Yeah. Once you get to level 25, you get the extra 1.5.
I think honestly the late games are very similar. Like the Ags on every single player plus Moonshard potential.
Oh, they're going to be laid out. Jarex doesn't quite land that stun, so Y is going to be able to get away from No Tail here, at least for the time being. But Ana's going to go in deep, trying to dive into Ice, but now he's going to be caught underneath this tier 3, and here comes the magic damage. Ana trying to make his jump away at the last second. Will manage to get some distance, but not enough to get away from Faith Beyond. No Tail does manage to at least get Ice in return, but again, the Timbersaw has to be worth more than a 4-position Leshrac.
Yeah, they keep forcing kind of weird, difficult to succeed at fights, and Blink is getting really far ahead. This guy's got 16 kills right now. Monkey King Bar picked up in addition with his BKB, so he's in a good spot. So I think Random's team fight is definitely very good into the late game. Their late game is solid. All the Ags, they can pick up the Moonshards. I think it'll really help make them competitive against heroes like Spectre and then Enigma with Octarine Refresher eventual items. I think it'll be okay.
It's going to be a battle of the big ults. You know, like get the right time lapses, the right black holes.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things that actually happen in this late game. And I'm really feeling like this game is actually going to go there. It doesn't look like either team is going to be able to break the other in the next 10, 15 minutes. We have a very even gold situation. The Alchemist is beginning to taper off his usual lead. Only sitting at about 5K advantage.
Interesting item build by Spectre here. Picks up an Orchid. So couple reasons interesting. They are having some lockdown problems. That seems pretty obvious. It's difficult for Shadow Shaman to stay alive very long this game, which is going to continue happening against the Diffusal Blade and all that damage. So with the Orchid, more disable, they can maybe kill the Weaver without help from other allies, or BKB runs out, use Orchid. And it also covers his Spectral Dagger issues, which, when you cast a Dagger every 6 seconds, you're going to run out of mana a lot faster. But Hero's already got lots of stats, throwing some mana regen. You're going to cast Dagger a lot this game.
And we were talking about late game, right? Bloodthorn has got to be one of the best, damage efficient.
Ice getting ganked bottom.
Ice going to die to Jarex here, looks like. Maybe. Well, maybe. If they can actually chase Jarex out, Jarex refusing to leave his ultimate. He really wants that kill, but he's not going to get it. Oh, no. Flyger going to be going down too. Jarex, he was pretty much saying, I'm giving up my life for my ultimate to last long enough to kill Ice, but he couldn't even do that much. Ice barely had the survivability. That's got to be that Ogre Axe right there. That extra bit, the Ogre Club, the extra bit of survivability.
Yeah. Really nice for Lesh to stay alive. That the Yules has paid off so many times, actually. I don't even think he's used it that often to set up, but just buying himself 2.5 seconds against OG's lineup has been really instrumental.
Yeah, he's got, he picked up the Rod of Atos. I was like, wait a minute, isn't that what the Yule Scepter is for? But now he can use the Rod more offensively and save the Yules for more defensive situations.
It's just so good for raw stats too. Plus 30 int on this item. 350 health. That's a great pickup, especially from a support position. If you're core, you're like, I'm going to sell that way too early in this game to buy it, but support, it's worth it.
Should be able to get away, right?
Unless there's a third hero and they stomp. Or the Monkey King Bar.
Close.
The Monkey King Bar actually didn't hit him.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And Y, as well as Ice, were super close to being able to get off their stuns, too. That was actually just kind of perfect positioning for No-Tail to TP out and a little bit of luck. First Aghanim Scepter is up. Lay your bets, Purge. Who's it going to?
It's on Blink already. I won. Oh, never mind. He already has the first one. Night Stalker just got it, but we missed it. Blink's got one already. It was just given to Faith Beyond. So
Alchemist Farm's just too damn fast.
Yeah, no kidding.
But you were right. Blink was the priority. Now we have the clear vision for Faith Beyond. Jarex's life just got a whole lot harder. That's why he's trying to pick up a Shadow Blade. He needs that extra bit. Of course, we're presuming that Team Random, they don't have a gem yet, but I'm going to assume it's going to be coming up soon with that Axe upgrade on Night Stalker.
I mean, there's not that much detection needed. It's really just killing wards, right? But I feel like Random's been playing on their side of the map all game, yet still winning. Kind of interesting.
Out here from the scan.
Is there Anna's just tanking creeps. Okay. I was like, leg? Not attacking the creeps?
Got to get those reactive armor stacks.
Timber went for the Whirling Death attribute reduction skill point this game. Kind of interesting. Very good.
Prioritizing against Alk, right?
Yeah, it's good against strength heroes, but anything other than that, it can be iffy.
Lead off right of Atos on the fly, taking out that support immediately. This is going to be a 4 versus 5 that commences. S4's got to come in big with his BKB Black Hole, but he's already used the BKB and can't find an opening for the Black Hole. Gets it now. 2 heroes. There's not going to be a whole lot of follow-up damage.
Gets
he pops
the
refresher. Now the second Black Hole. He's going to be able to catch 3 this time. Can OG output the damage? It doesn't look like it. S4's going to die. The second Black Hole is down, and now OG have to try and chase down the rest of these heroes themselves. Shadow, jump away. Chakram, double Chakram, and a Whirling Death. And it times it perfectly and gets the triple kill just in time.
Man, Refresher Enigma looks real good. That was the most obvious incoming disable from Night Stalker, but instantly S4 was like, next BKB, and I'm going to black hole you guys.
Blink was laying into him too. They were trying to bring down that S4 as quick as possible, but OG, once again, they win a team fight next to the Roshan pit. They're going to claim, I believe, what is that, the 3rd Aegis of the game? They're going to have cheese as well.
There is a cheese on Roche. No new items to respect to here since the Orchid, but definitely hard to kill. Just kill one of these bugs.
Do the bugs not latch onto you when you're a Mischief?
I mean, you're above the ground, dude. Bugs can't climb trees. Everyone knows that.
Good logic. You have a good logic.
Maybe if he turns into a Mischief, they don't auto aggro or something.
Yeah.
What just happened? Did they kill a cheese? No, okay. Oh, he's killing the bug or something. I'm not sure.
No KYXY today. We're going to have the cheese for Anna.
All right.
And that extra life for No-Tail.
That's the first Aegis for OG, correct? Like, Random's gotten the other 2? No, they got one.
No, they got one of them, right? It was the same. It was like Deja Vu, where it was like Blink was alive trying to contest with the bugs.
Well, they're going high ground now. S4's got Black Hole in 14 seconds, Refresher in 30, so may seem like he's not ready to go, but he absolutely is. Time to party.
Take it down to tier 3. Are OG going to stick around for more? Alchemist coming up in 10 seconds. Doesn't seem like a good idea, so they're going to retreat. Anna, is he going to be able to get the distance, though? He's so low, but it looks like OG know they can't really commit. They just get baited in by a cheese play. So they wait for their Alchemist to come alive. They're going to lose their Shrines here, but it is still a long, long ways from the end.
Take a look at that fight once again. S4 popping BKB early. I really like how Random's playing the fights. They basically just spread out with BKBs and target whoever they want to, but as soon as he's disabled, another BKB, and he's healing insane amounts because of the Octarine core. One of the best ways to stay alive, but he's very in need of some armor. Not quite hitting level 25 for the plus 12, and it looks like he's going to buy Ags afterwards, actually.
Oh, that's going to be huge.
But him not being 25, it really matters. And it looks like he actually sold his Midas at some point previously. That's going to hurt him in the long run, considering how much gold that was outputting right now with the cooldown reduction.
Yeah, I was watching that fight. It looks like maybe Team Random made a bit of a mistake. You saw Faith Beyond actually throw up a silence on that Enigma as the black hole and the BKB faded. And then, he obviously refreshed. He re-BKB'd instantly. That silence is gone, and he was a bit too close. So I'm sure that's not a mistake that Team Random are going to be making next time they fight.
Yeah. Maybe that was why he didn't expect it, because he sold Midas or something like that. Just that little 950 gold boost could have made a difference, but it's definitely going to affect S4's items in the late game. He's still going to farm really fast by all means, but that's easily like a good 140 GPM that he gave up by selling that thing. So hopefully it pays off in the end.
There is the Abyssal Blade. Now these supports of Team Random, there is hard lockdown for No Tail to be able to jump on them. That's going to be problematic. Ice is able to kite right now with the Rod of Atos onto No Tail, turns around, kills a ward for a second, but he is going to be caught. Jerix hits the first stun, BKB activated by Ice, tries to run himself away with the help of Glimmer Cape. They're going to jump on a Shadow now. He's down to half health. No Tail actually making himself a target. He does have that Aegis. So all this damage that Team Random laying in, BKB, Black Hole, there's the opening for S4. If they can take down Blink here, this would be huge, and he does not have buyback. Team Random are going to have to fight this one out, 3 versus 5, and Faith Beyond, he is actually going to be Abyssal Blade up, and they can lose his life as well. A little bit of Orchid help as No Tail shuffles that one out of his backpack. Shadow's going to be up next. He is shackled up, and it looks like Team Random are almost going to get wiped. Inside of their own base, the buybacks are coming in, but can they even fight this one without Blink? They need to be able to kill No Tail. Will so deep inside the base, but S4, the second Black Hole, it only catches one hero, but one hero is all that matters. Shadow, they bring him down for a second time, 2 minutes on the clock, and Team Random are done with game 1. They call GG.
Just like DAC, man, the Enigma on OG just seems so overpowered. Especially in that last fight. He knew exactly what he wanted. Let's take time-lapse out of the game. He commits his BKB Black Hole for that one, and then once they get all the buybacks for us, he says, let's grab another buyback core. Let's get the important here. The guy that's going to stop these pushes. It was Enigma that really made the big difference in that last fight.
Absolutely. Team Random took a bit of a gamble. We've seen this before, the four Ags lineup, essentially, the potential to be able to go late game with it. They seem kind of okay with it, but a couple of team fights just go awry, and all of a sudden the game is over, especially with the lack of buyback on Blink.
Yeah, I mean, they played amazing on Team Random, taking the game that close, especially the way they played their team fights was amazing, but the one thing they were really lacking that seemed obvious by the end, they didn't have that many stuns, and stuns is the only way that you can stop S4 from doing stuff like that. Initiate on him, chain stun him, prevent him from actually casting his abilities. Because just casting BKB Midnight Pulse Black Hole, he heals to half HP. You can't really stop that unless you kill him first.
Okay, apologies for that. We just seem to have lost the signal there from Kiev. But nevertheless, we are back on the panel to discuss a fantastic game between OG and Team Random. I guess when you look at it, it has to be...
What is that?
It has to be Sir Action Slacks, I guess.
Technology is supposed to be used responsibly.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, he just keeps messing around. Can we stop Sir Action Slacks using the production area, please?
As always, with Team Random, the draft holds plenty of twists and turns, and this one is no different. A last pick Death Prophet Purge, and OG, the last pick Arc Warden. How are you feeling about this draft?
It was pretty weird watching it progress, right? Like, nobody's opening Vengeful Spirit right now. That seemed kind of out of nowhere, but it maybe made some more sense with the Batrider pick. They grabbed the hero that counters the hero they're about to pick. And then the Wyvern, another weird pick. But finally, with the DP, it made a lot of sense. 2 heroes that can save somebody. They get some really good team teamfight potential. It's very similar to a secret draft, I believe, that we saw earlier. Wyvern with DP, because you combo so well with her, keep her alive, let her ult do damage. But the part I really liked was Winter's Curse into silence. It's the most obvious silence ever. It's in some ways like 8 seconds to disable if they don't have silence solutions, and that's going to be the case for the first 15 minutes. So it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Absolutely. The last pick, Arc Warden, is something else that I want to talk about from OG, simply because I don't know how you feel about it, Perch, but I feel like OG, they're the only team who's really consistently picking up Arc Warden in these officials. I don't feel like it's really been tested. You know, like I don't feel like I've felt the Arc Warden truly proven to be a strong hero.
Yeah,
you know, like
I
that's
agree.
worthy the last pick.
Yeah, I think they're out of the 3 games that I watched him play, one of the games I was, okay, he's a good hero. But past that, he has some issues. It's pretty clear, I think. He's not very good at the laning stage. If he's losing, he seems very weak. If there's a team fight situation and he's not defensive in the back, he seems bad. But the thing he's very, very good at, which seems to be the reason teams pick him, is magnetic field. It's like, oh, they're pushing, I'll drop the magnetic field, drop my ulti, use another magnetic field. It makes it so hard for your opponents to actually close the game out. And for that reason, this is a really good pick against the Troll Warlord, against a Death Prophet. That's 2 heroes that do right-click based damage to kill a building.
Yeah, let's talk about that, right? The ghosts are not going to be hitting the tower unless Death Prophet's inside the bubble. Is that where we're presuming?
I do not know, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know
think
either.
That's how it works. We will find out.
I mean, you have to say, it's a last pick Arc Warden against the Death Prophet. I feel like that's kind of what OG are going for here. After all, Wings are showing us, or excuse me, Team Random are showing us a very heavy mid-game push, and OG just want to prolong the game, presumably, right? Like, and that's what truly Arc Warden's good at. He's good at late game, and he's really good at just prolonging games and protecting high ground.
That's very interesting. Faithbeyond didn't go for the first wave. He's going to wait for the second one instead. But I guess there's a much better chance of not dying this way, because if they actually had like Flux or something and they spotted him, it would be a lot easier to get the kill. So the ideal would be do this pull. In the meantime, that prevents Fly from stacking. I don't know if he's going to react or not here. We'll see. But he may just attack twice and go stack. Stacking is so much more important. So I kind of feel like Faithbeyond maybe should stick around to prevent the stack. But
yeah, I feel it's not very often that you get a chance to stack that easy camp. So Fly being able to get this one is big.
The 1 minute timing is like the most important time for supports in the game right now, because the camp, if you don't stack it there, it doesn't stack until 3 minutes. So it kills a lot of your ability to actually deal with the offlaner getting experience.
S4, 2 HP, Jesus. Poor man shield doing its work. And he does have the back of the Tusk, so it looks like they're just going to go ahead and pop the Shrine. They've got a big wave pushing in. Both of these heroes would love to have their level 2. So with this wave pushing in, hopefully they'll be able to get it.
Great ice shards from Tusk as well to guarantee the creeps stay around. They'll give S4 guaranteed level 2. Surely will help a little, keeping him alive. And Fly doing his best to mess up Faith Beyond's life as well, just zoning, diving under the tower a bit.
And here comes the Drunken Ace. Shadow doesn't have anything to be able to deal with that, so that lessens the harassment onto S4, as well as his own CSing abilities.
Yeah, it's actually super value. I don't remember this being 25 mana, but 25 mana is almost nothing.
Yeah, it really is.
It only lasts for 4 seconds, which is probably why it got reduced, but certainly is going to be a great way to stop Shadow from getting every last hit.
Meanwhile, our mid lane, we do have Blink's Death Prophet facing up against Anna's Notorious Ember Spirit. We are getting into the first 2 levels difficult for the Ember Spirit because of the fact that Spirit Siphon can just so easily kill your Flame Guard. A little bit later on, though, 200 magic absorptions. Things should start getting a little bit easier for Anna, but how do you think the rest of this laning phase kind of pays out?
I think it's all based on the supports. The last time we saw it, the Death Prophet was actually pressured a lot, but they're going to do that here. They've got Orb of Venom as well.
They immediately back out as soon as they see that TP in from Ice. After all, he is level 2. They're not sure if he does have a level Cold Embrace. Fly's actually dropping a bit low here. They do have another nuke coming in, but Crypt Swarm not going to be there in time to finish him off. That does leave Faith Beyond in a 1v1 at the top lane, though, so that rotation failing on the Death Prophet does offer a lot for Team Random in this laning phase. Batrider will certainly be one of the better offlane heroes to pressure a safe laner, but can Arc Warden really be pressured, even by a Batrider?
I think he absolutely can. I mean, I guess if you get Flux, there's no way that Batrider will be able to commit and get the kill, but At the very least, messing up the creep equilibrium. As a ranged hero with low armor, Arcwarden is actually very vulnerable to getting dived on under tower by creeps. So even if Batrider simply just pulls his creep waves to the side and makes No-Tail tank creeps under the tower, that could add up really fast. All comes down to the Midas timing, though. The faster he gets the Midas, the better. So maybe it'd be really good for Random to actually do some kind of early rotation with Vengeful Spirit and the Winter Wyvern, but that doesn't sound super likely to me. So maybe just play standard and let him get his full acceleration.
Winter Wyvern, Ice kind of chilling out here in the top lane. Looks like he's going to maybe push back the support, see if they can get a hard camp pull, fly. Not going to be able to intercept it, but the Tusk will. Another great use of the Ice Shards from Jarex.
That was so well done, and it guarantees that he gets the bounty rune, so denies the pull, which means that No-Tail's safe, which means that the supports also get the bounties. He's been using that skill really well for that purpose.
There is a, I would say, decent advantage to playing the Dire side Tusk. Being able to play this cliff area, Snowball actually has some decent range. I feel like your opportunities for initiation, Tusk Dire side against the Radiant mid is a lot better, but he's not going to be able to see a window here just yet.
And he can also get to the offlane a lot easier as well. Like if you're trying to roll into OG, you'd probably have to be on the left side. If you're on the right side, it's a much harder angle to hit, which would give you the offlane access. So yeah, I definitely agree. Dire side Tusk a little bit better. They're maybe hoping to get a kill here on S4, but it's going to be tough. Even if they do close the gap a bit, he will be able to slow attack speed with Thunderclap too.
Here comes the Drunken Haze, so all that right-click damage should be pretty ineffective.
70% mischance.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Keeps putting the slow on Shadow, but he's going to be pressured again.
Oh, and that miss percentage is going to wear out here, but they do have Jarex. So Team Random not feeling comfortable with it. There is a big opportunity for Heal Bomb potentially from Fly.
Oh, he's on cooldown.
They're going to go wide. Why? Snowball out. They're going to be able to finish him off. That's going to be your first blood, but they may just lose S4. Drunken Haze out. S4 still ends up going down. So it trades a support for a core, but it is OG picking up that coveted first blood.
I did not see when the first heal came out, but he did not have that one TP, and I'm sitting there waiting for the damage. And also when the snowball broke as well, the heal was used when the heroes split up a little bit, so they didn't quite get the amazing trade they wanted, but that was still very good considering S4 looked quite dead.
And Faith Beyond is getting a lot of solo time here, and he's already got 1,000 gold in the bank with the boots, regular boots picked up. You said they might rotate in. They've already moved Ice up here once, and now they're actually going to have Y himself show up with a hard stun. They might just be able to catch No-Tail here. They got a couple of stacks of sticky napalm, get a stun. That's enough time for maybe the Firefly to close that distance before the Flux is used.
Arcwarden has a huge strength gain though, and he's got 13 stick charges as well, so they're going to have to do a lot of damage. It's going to take a lot of Batrider standing on top of Arcwarden. Here they're going for it.
They're going to try. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they do manage to catch Ice back over the top. No-Tail being run down, does use those charges, but it's not going to be enough. There is no TPs in from the two supports of OG. They did make their rotation upwards and almost caught Y in the process, but an Ice Shards this time not quite locking it down.
The Wave of Terror just makes the right clicks do so much damage there, and despite using Flux and Spark Wraith, it's big overkill. The fast level 5 as well, the Flame Break does 4 burn duration with like 3 or 4 sticky napalm stacks. That's like 400 magic damage with 1 skill point. It's pretty insane.
Are we saying Faith Beyond, is you just like rushing towards the Blink Dagger, or what is this build that he's going?
I think he might as well, because he's got like the best start ever for a Batrider, right? It's way better than you normally expect, and with this double stack, he got pretty lucky too. Satyrs and 1 center camp only, these are all very vulnerable to magic damage, so yeah. I think he just rushes the blink and makes the game happen, because on OG's side, despite the Arcwarden kill there, he's also maybe not going to get a fast Midas. He's actually going to finish Aquila first, so I think just set the tempo ahead. I think that's the better thing to do here. Oh, Jarek's perfect time to be here, though.
Collecting a lot of that experience. Is he going to step down to see if he can take some of that hard camp? Yeah. See if he uses the Ice Shards to be able to clean up some of the last hits here. They're all pretty low. Jarex holding it for now. And Faith Beyond is going to get most of these last hits, it looks like. Now Y is going to be here. Jarex starts running himself away. Nice Ice Shards once again. He knew he was going to be caught by the sticky napalm slow.
That's entirely why he saved that skill. He didn't want a chance getting the last hit and getting chased down all the way. A little greedy from him, but that was actually so amazing. He got a full level, and Batrider got 1 less level as well.
So it looks like the lane plays out pretty well for Death Prophet. Currently sitting 51-13 bottom lane. They're going to go on S4 using the extra attack speed, but again, the Drunken Haze proves to be problematic when they go for this kill.
And he picks up a Magic Wand. So just simple 4-man shield, Iron Talon, Brown Boots, Brewmaster. The hero doesn't need as many items as he did in the past. The big thing is level 10, fast mana regen perk. But his experience gain has been fantastic. I do agree that Death Prophet's had a great lane, though. Certainly a good advantage against the Ember Spirit, hitting about 20 last hits more, and now he's going for a rotation. Treads, double null, and he's got a lot of good skills leveled up heavily.
And this looks good, because Ice is kind of baiting it right now. He's kind of showing like, oh, I'm just a support trying to slow down your push. But OG maybe caught the spark rate that's already gone out, so it looks like OG do have the warning bells that his gank is coming, but they may not be fast enough. Unfortunately, the pushback from the flame break is going to increase the distance slightly, but they are going to catch up to No Tail eventually, maybe catch him out. The Shell Grave buys him a little bit of time, but it looks like Blink is going to be able to lock it down with the Spirit Siphon, or not, gets the TP out. OG, maybe they're going to lose S4 instead. S4 not quite level 6. They're going to go for a snowball save, pushing in deeper. S4 gets whatever damage he can. Managed to finish off the Venture Spirit. Now that puts Blink low. They jump in, but there's the heal from the Winter Wyvern. And now that ultimate, it's going to be wearing out soon, but not soon enough. It looks like Anna is actually maybe going to go down. He does have a Remnant to jump to, but doesn't even have the mana to jump to it. So Team Random get 2 core kills out of that. Maybe they didn't go No Tail, but it was well worth the rotation for Team Random. Maybe a third. Jarex gets bumped back. There's a snowball over the creeps. Fly's going to have to save him with a heal, but there's a second Firefly out, and it's actually the nuke from Ice that finishes the kill.
So rather than going for the Blink Dagger, he just bought a really early drum, used 2 charges in that fight, but completely worth it for all those kills against OG. I think the Ember Spirit rotation was great as well, but they ran out of mana. If he had a Magic Wand, maybe that fight could have continued. Maybe they kill Death Prophet. Maybe they get another support kill and no one else dies, but really good pressure there from Team Random.
Yeah, I was kind of worried that and maybe we'll still see it, but the Ember Spirit's burst magic damage is going to be such a big threat for DP because they can't depend on that Winter Wyvern, but we're seeing at least through the first start of these team fights, it's just not being enough. And the Death Prophet is able to just kind of persevere. And speaking of that, we are going to have a Yule Scepter picked up next, and you said that's going to be a way to deal with that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Whenever the expected burst comes in, just throw yourself up in the air. That could be Snowball coming in, that could be a Brewmaster going for a Thunderclap into an ulti. There's a lot of things he can save himself from. So OG's got to take slightly better fights in the next engagements, if possible. That one was very much a defensive thing. They saved the Arc Warden at least. That's huge.
Look at bottom. Faith Beyond is playing just outside of the vision for the most part. And as Troll starts pushing forward, though, he's backing away. Maybe he should have stuck around because there is a 4-man Smoke King coming out from OG. They want to catch this Troll nice and early.
He's committed.
Looks like they've got him. So slow down, double nukes. They do have TPs coming in from the Death Prophet, so maybe there can be an opportunity for a turnaround, or maybe it's just an extra kill. Blink blown up, almost. Ember Spirit tries to get the damage out. They finish him off. Random did not have the support in time. Now it's just going to be cleanup time. They're going to be able to get at least Y, if not more. Ice does have the ultimate, though. Throws it on the Fly. Fly taking a lot of damage from the Brewmaster. It's going to be Y to finish him off with Magic Missile. Jarex, meanwhile, jumps forward. Manages to catch Ice with a snowball. Knocks him up in the air with the Walrus Punch, but there is no follow-up from OG. They've already gotten enough kills out of this fight anyway.
And this is one of the better rotations I've ever seen from an Arc Warden. He doesn't have his Midas yet, but this hero actually does insane amounts of magic damage in the early game. Especially if he duplicates, he can drop spark rates for 280 damage every 4 seconds from his 2 sources, and even Flux by itself is good. 2 right clicks and on top of that. So just by finding the Death Prophet kill after the Troll, it opened up the game so much for OG. Like there's not good reaction to that if the Arc Warden is there. But I don't even think they saw him. He was kind of lagging in the back. He did throw down a Spark Wraith, but they weren't expecting that insane disable and that insane magic damage output.
All right, we have the rotation from Random up top, then OG down to bottom. This time it's going to be Random with a Smoke Ink into the enemy jungle here, and they're going to find No Tail right in the perfect time. Look at it, he's 20 gold away. No Tail's like, no, please, desperately, let me get at least a creep, but it's not going to happen. Loses the 200 gold. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Shadow's going to die again, so at least there is some sort of balance to this game of OG Wings. 7-7.
That Midas delay is very painful. And he fed his Tempest double as well. That's a lot of golden experience. I think it's like 180 right now. Does miss the flame break on S4. Playing around a little bit, but we'll see things go a little static here, I expect. Death Prophet surprisingly doing some aggro ancients here. Kind of interesting, but I think it's because he used Exorcism on the Tempest double in the first place. So. Arc Warden, that is.
Might as well put some use to that ultimate.
So OG does get a tower out of this. So when you gank the jungle, it's kind of hard to turn it into a tower instantly. Random turned it into an ancient destruction because they were there already. But that's a tower advantage, which means now it's a little harder for Troll to farm. He's very good at jungling, though, especially with Vlad, so he'll be fine. But certainly it'll be easier for OG to find the right places to gank, and maybe a bit more obvious when Random isn't in aggressive position or sitting in their lanes.
And it also means our Blink Dagger is going to be coming in pretty soon for S4. He's currently trying to beat out Faith Beyond's Blink Dagger, which is what he's going after, the Drums of Endurance. Both sitting at a similar amount of gold here. OG checking out the Roshan pit, making sure they heard the Troll ultimate. They wanted to make sure he wasn't actually sneaking inside the pit. That is one of the dangers, right? There's a lot of comparisons to be made between Troll and Ursa. And obviously the biggest comparison is they're both able to do Roshan very early on.
Yeah, especially with the Venge on the backside with a medallion. He doesn't have it yet, but or somebody has it queued up. Wyvern? Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's finished already? That's really early. So if they ever do win a team fight against OG, that's probably where they're going to go right after. With that said, though, OG does have another Arcane Rune on Ember Spirit. This is one of the best things you can have in the early game, just because he has some mana problems, and lowering the recharge of Fire Remnants and Searing Chains and all that stuff is really effective. And that's who they're going to go in on.
No wall out. Blink definitely has some protection there. What a beautiful Winter's Curse onto Jarex. Is going to set all this up. So they're going to finish off Jarex. Doesn't look like they had the opportunity to push for more, but a free pickoff there for Team Random. More time for Shadow to push out top, though. He's actually backing away from that. Perhaps afraid of a rotation from OG.
Winter's Curse has been really effective this game. I've never seen so many impactful Winter's Curses the first 15 minutes, but they've been very well used. Medallion making that better as well. Throw it on the guy that's getting it auto-attacked, and he'll die faster. Interesting choice. Oh, he's going Necro 3 build on Arc Warden. I haven't seen this in so long. It's a lot worse than it was originally. When Arc Warden first came out, you'd make a Tempest double, he'd get Necro 3 whenever he summons. Each Arc Warden Tempest double would have its own cooldowns, but now it's based on the same for each Tempest double. So spawn your Tempest double, he gets a Midas, it's not off cooldown 60 seconds later. You still have to wait the full 100. So Necro's scene is worse right now. So I'm excited to see if No-Tail can make something amazing happen. He also went Arcane Boots, which is a bit interesting, but considering that it's technically 2, this could really help his team get a lot more mana and himself.
Do you think it's because of the read? Like, Team Random have a very 5-man focused lineup, right? Batrider seeks out the extra pickoff. They have the Death Prophet team fight ultimate that they want to base themselves around, and Troll is going to be able to help push down those towers. It seems like there is going to be a lot of opportunities for split pushing. Faith Beyond currently scouting here. He's going to jump forward. Will manage to grab fly. That's a big one. They can actually finish him off. Meanwhile, the Brewmaster initiation comes out, unable to get the silence fast enough, but they do have the swap out to be able to buy Flink some time, and his ultimate is doing a lot of work. OG are low on all sides. Fly in the back, almost taken out. They do have another great Winter's Curse for the Shallgrave. Will manage to save Jarex just in time. Big jump in from Anna. Tries to get the burst damage, but now he's silenced up, and he's just going to die to Shadow. Jarex jumps forward, trying to finish off Blink, but it's not quite enough. Blink with the Gold Scepter is able to defend himself. Now it's going to be Fly. Food for fodder as Shadow managed to pick up another kill. Looks for the wipe as No-Tail is going to be the final man down of OG, and Team Random take a big fight in the mid lane, trading 1 for 5. Gonna take that mid tower, and who knows what else from there.
Amazing fight for Team Random. OG felt they had some moments where they could go in, and they kept getting heroes really low, but it's so dangerous for them actually to commit to those sometimes. And this is almost for sure going to guarantee... No, never mind. They're all alive. It'll be fine. But taking the tier 1 tower there is huge, and OG getting a little too overconfident on the Venge kills a few times there.
Another bad team fight like that, or even a pickoff, is actually going to lead into any kind of Roche opportunity.
No, the opening was so good, but the swap absolutely helped save the DP. She's still doing tons of damage in the backline. The Fire Panda goes down. They really wanted to kill Innocence, and great Winter's Curse, but an amazing Graven response. But at this point, OG is all playing with low HP. It's way too dangerous here. No-Tail
did catch here, but Ice Eyes just ahead of the Ice Shards. And he had Arctic Burn up anyway, so he could have just flew right over that one.
But the OG lineup, they're definitely going to run into some big damage issues pretty soon here. I think the reason he's going Necro 3s is because of the large one. If it gets blown up, it does a lot of pure damage. And that's going to be a really good counter, actually, against the Death Prophet, because she can't stop her little bats from attacking.
We have 4-man smoke up. Catches S4. Easy kill on the Brewmaster. And this pickoff could lead to more, actually. Why? Might be able to find Fly here.
He's got no
They're
way.
going to chase him down from the tower, surely. Yep. There goes swap back. Gets out the weave, but it is a death weave for Fly. And a tier 1 tower down once again.
I feel like if OG was able to win that team fight in the mid that they lost previously, this whole game would have been changed. But Random is just rolling over OG at the moment, and they don't have very good heroes for stopping that. They don't have like they're basically their melee frontliner that's supposed to jump in, be survivable, and keep messing with them is Brewmaster. And outside of that, they don't have much. And Ember Spirit, I don't think is going to be that hero this game either. Troll is really scary. They have to worry about Batrider last, so they have to worry about Venge, Stun Swap, and of course the big damage output. It's Death Prophet. So I think this last pick, Death Prophet, was really good for this lineup. Hard to kill him. He's got backup, and he does so much damage.
Boy, they're actually getting a ton of farm on Ice Ice. He got that early medallion. Because of the kills offered to him from Winter's Curse, he's going to have a Blink Dagger pretty soon. He's about 1,000 gold away from that one. That'll be even better initiation for Team Random. Initially, they're just playing completely off of the Batrider, but now we could have excellent initiation from the Winter Wyvern as well. As you said, that all sets up into the Death Prophet Silence, and right now, and probably in the future, there's not going to be too many ways that OG can deal with that. We need to have like Yule Scepters on Brewmaster and Ember Spirit just to be able to deal with that one silence.
Yeah. Even killing Death Prophet looks tough right now. Very efficient item build. He's just going all for survivability. Even grabs the magic resistance perk at 10. Most likely will pass up the hood that we've seen some other players grab. But between like Yule, Solar Crest, and just generally high HP, it's hard for OG to kill this guy.
12% magic resistance plus the Solar Crest. I love that.
Plus healing.
Yeah, I love that Solar Crest has just become like a nice efficient stat item. Yeah, who necessarily needs to be using it?
It's actually pretty disgusting. It's only 2,600 gold, considering it gives you 12 armor and 25% evasion. And if you really want to use this aggressively, it's great. Works very well with Exorcism, Amplify.
Okay, so OG, whenever I've seen these kind of like split push lineups, too many times, we see like, for example, they're now the Siren. They love to be able to try and make a team fight happen 12, 15 minutes before they get into their full split push category. This time around they tried it, it failed pretty badly. Surely this is when OG bounces back and just tries to play a split push game against Team Random's 5-man.
I think it's possible. They can kind of still take fights, but yeah, 5 versus 5 is really terrifying right now, so commit to the split push if you can.
That is going to be Ember Spirit managing to jump away. They didn't get a bash from the Troll. So Anna, being the lucky man, will get back to his shrine, heal up.
So
OG.
So maybe one of the big losses here is that they don't have good disable follow-up from the last. So it's basically Venge Stun or Troll Bash, or the bigger, easier one is probably Death Prophet Silence, at least right now. But she did opt for Treads this game. Boots of Travel would have been amazing for this kind of setup situation, but wasn't able to get in there fast enough. So those kind of losses are actually huge. That's maybe a big lacking here to Random. I felt like they're going to be able to deal with the split push well, but if they don't have the lockdown, Ember Spirit hitting buildings is definitely the safest way.
Yeah. And then once you start having successful split pushing from OG, especially now that we have the Necronomicon, you start forcing Team Random to split up a little bit more. That's when the team fights can really come to the favor of OG, right?
Yeah,
Instead
exactly.
of split, occasionally they could just like boom, group up and hit Team Random hard. So Random, even though they had an incredible start, still have a lot of issues to address as we start hitting into the mid game. Plenty of opportunities for OG to make the comeback if Team Random aren't careful.
And they're going to play. He's just summoning a lot of Necros. He's just trying to increase his farm speed with these. They're definitely good at that, but it's still a pretty big cooldown. Approaching Necro 2, Necro 3. So what is the magic damage? It's okay, it does magic actually on Necro. I forgot it's not pure anymore. So it does 800 magic damage when it dies, which means that Death Prophet actually does have good solutions against it. He can just build maybe a Pipe Lader, or a BKB would also stop it if I'm not mistaken. Unless it is coded to go through. I think they'll die. Can't check. Check later.
Roshan attempts here from Shadow. No Tail spotting it out with his Tempest double. It's going to die though, and that really kills the team fight power of OG. Seems pretty clear to Team Random. They know OG can't actually fight this one, so Faith Beyond. He gets out there, manages to find the pick off onto No Tail. A big kill, because we talked about how that magnetic field, that bubble, stops a lot of these pushes. No Tail's got to be option number one to be able to kill the high ground defense or kill the defense of these tier 2s and push objectives.
Man, that was a big pick off. No Tail making a large mistake with the Batrider grabbing him. And he's not going to be mobile this game. He's not going to have invisibility. I mean, Necro's very, very cool on paper. Maybe it was the right choice this game, but I can't help but think that he just started off a little too slow. The delay of the Midas cost so much, and maybe the support should have spent more time there. But with that said, this is a tier 3 tower taking damage.
Yeah,
what the heck?
Team Random didn't address that one very quickly. Already down to half HP, I feel like that wasn't actually fully worth it, tier 2 tower, because you know the split push is already going to be a problem from OG. So you can't afford to have some of your fortifications like that already being, dropped down this low.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, it's still more map control, but considering your opponents are going to have more boots of travel than you, I don't know. Maybe it's tough. Tough to deal with that. If that tower does go down, that would be insane. I mean, they haven't even lost the mid tower. The tier 3 has taken more than the mid tower has almost. Very close.
All right, we got a gem. I really like this pickup. An early gem from Team Random will make because they do have the potential catch, right?
Yeah.
With this Bat Rider against some of these heroes. So we do have the potential for Team Random to punish some of these split pushers, particularly the Ember Spirit. All they have to do is just kill a lot of the aggressive vision of OG. So that early gem is going to play off some pretty big dividends, I assume. OG did try and look like they were trying to go for some sort of smoke rotation, maybe pick off at mid that allows them to take that tier 1 tower. While Anna continues his march into the tier 3.
Pushing pretty fast despite his items. Just Maelstrom alone is going to get creeps up on the high ground to do more damage.
Or chip. Random, they seem like really focused on making sure a bad team fight doesn't happen, staying 5-man quite a lot, which is opening up these huge opportunities for Anna.
Trying to keep that Tempest double alive while he split pushes, and even more tower damage here.
Oh, he doesn't get the gold for it either.
Very close. So Shadow pressuring the tier 2 still. This should still fall. No way they defend this, but they are inching their way towards shrine kills even before Random can think about it. With that said, even if they do get the tier 3, I do feel like Random's getting pretty close to just going high ground. But
yeah,
the issue is going to be pushing the lanes out first and then having an opportunity to do that. And there's a long, long time until Roche is ready. So maybe Random can, in this time period, utilize the Aegis.
Yeah, this definitely says to me like the way the team, this wasn't a mistake, right? Like it's not like they made the same mistake 2 times in a row, right? So yeah, it's very clear Team Random are doing this on purpose. They really want to make sure they stick together, they don't have a bad team fight, and will go ahead and concede a little bit of tier 3 damage whenever they're going for these tier 2 pushes. That for me says Team Random are much more focused on, hey, we're going to end the game soon. We're going to go for that high ground. This game's going to reach a crescendo real fast where Team Random either successfully push high ground, in which case the tier 3 going down doesn't matter, or they stall out, OG take that tier 3, they unlock shrines, and we can play this, this harder rat game that Team Random may never be able to come back from. Looks like a pickoff on Jarek's here. He's been playing pretty aggressive with that haste rune, and will meet an unfortunate fate.
Shadow with the Shadow Blade, picked up, instantly gets the kill. And I really like this item choice because it's going to allow him to counter the split push and more importantly, help get his own solo kills as the game continues, just because OG is always going to be split pushing. If they always have to worry about trolls showing up and doing a crap load of physical damage any second, then they're going to be a lot less willing to push the lanes out aggressively and make sure that Random can't go high ground.
Yeah, so even Ember Spirit, when he picks up his Lincolns, right, he's like, oh, I dealt with the Bat Rider a bit now, right?
Yep.
But Troll, who knows? Maybe Shadow Blade's on you and gets a first hit, or maybe even a second hit bash. That's enough to lock you down long enough to kill you from 100 to 0.
And Ember still doesn't have silence solutions, too. The Lincolns will stop Lasso and Winter's Curse and Swap, but if they maybe do, I guess they can't do Yules into silence at least, because that would be blocked, but if the DP is just in the area as the Troll shows up, silence and right clicks, that's all it'll take, and it will go down.
Oh, look at this Shadow Blade. Shadow, he's on it.
He knew.
He's gonna find Andy. Is he gonna be able to get that bash? First hit, second hit, no luck, no love.
Still had his remnant up from before, but he choreographed that TP, and as a result, Anna's farm decreases a little bit.
We are really seeing Team Random do an excellent job controlling the map now. Now that they have that additional threat for Ember Spirit with that Shadow Blade revealed.
Yeah.
Oh, Fate Beyond actually completes that Boots of Travel, goes for no tail, pulls him right back in, and they're going to try and blow him up. Nice use of Winter's Curse to be able to prevent the Shallow Grave. Now they'll go ahead and turn their attention towards Fly. He used the Shallow Grave, goes for a TP, but it will not work. So Nice fast play there from Team Random to control the map. They're actually going to go for mid here real quickly. Anna actually controls him up. Shadow in some trouble, but Y's going to be able to bail him out. Swap back. Enough time for Shadow to be able to use the BKB, so he mans up against S4, forcing out the ultimate. BKB is going to wear out soon. S4 thinking of following him out, at least with some of the damage pandas. He's going to make the stone form, the earth panda, run himself away. Random are going to try and catch up with it, though. 5 seconds till he drops.
He's got to get the blink off. It's the only way.
The Firefly's going to be on top of him. If he's not careful, here comes the blink. Oh, no, there's too much damage over the place. Y uses Wave of Terror as well as Shadow blinking in and manage to get that whirling axes at the same time.
I don't even know if S4 is expecting to get caught there, because the Invis Troll Warlord jumping out with the whirling axes, as soon as you appear there, you're going to get hit by those things. Unless it bugs. It does that sometimes. But ends up getting another kill against OG, and it just feels like they have very little weight to control the map now. All it took was a Shadow Blade and a little bit of careful movement prediction where their opponents are going to be, and the farm levels just drop off pretty drastically.
We're probably still going to reach that, that high ground push that's coming in, but maybe we're a little bit wrong in that analysis earlier where, like, Team Random, they actually were kind of sacrificing that Tier 3, but now they're controlling the map so much that that sliver of HP that the Tier 3 has, it's not even, like, they're just not getting up any of the side lane momentum, right? It's always being countered now. Now that Team Random has some of those items. Nice, breaking the Lincolns. Now jump in with the lasso and the damage coming out from Shadow. They'll make short work of the Ember Spirit, and now this is their opening. In fact, No Tail, ooh, thank goodness that Shards was there from Jerax. Otherwise, No Tail could have been caught as well.
That's so bad to be this far behind on Ember when Bat has a Force Staff at the same time you finish your Lincolns. Yeah. Doesn't even matter if you had that. This guy's going to check your items. He's going to know what you're building anyways. And they just instantly counter him.
They still have the swap back of the Vengeful Spirit too, so this 40-second window that Team Random have, a lot can be done, a lot can be forced in it. Blink, immediately put himself inside the medic field. Another one goes out.
I think it's getting hit.
Tail.
The bats are hitting
it. It is. Those bats don't give a damn about a bubble.
I'm a little, I don't know how it's coded, but it works. So even if OG was doing better, maybe it's still countered.
Tier 3 going to drop fast. They're immediately going to go for the melee racks. They still got 10 more seconds. Anna down, unable to fight, and this should mean, or maybe not, Team Random are going to respect it.
All right, that one's working. It's just placement based, I think. It has to be, because when the bats go into melee, they're like a short range melee creature, I'm assuming. So if you place it a little bit too close, it needs to be over the circle of the barracks, which might be the very center point, but you can't put it any farther out, because then the bat will be inside the bubble when it attacks.
Yeah, when it swoops in to grab that tower, then it actually gets inside that bubble.
Who knew? I think that's how it works. I'm not 100%, but that's what it looked like. So S4 is going to try to get a good initiation here with Brewmaster. They need to catch somebody.
Shadow is going to pop that smoke from OG.
The nighttime smoke is so hard to make it effective because of moments like that. He just assumed that there was a hero. He just couldn't see him.
And we're actually going to be getting an Orchid Bloodthorn for Troll Warlord. So that'll be another potential way for him to be able to catch the Ember Spirit, perhaps.
Or any other hero. Actually, it's probably the Brewmaster. If he finds Brewmaster solo, easiest kill ever.
Anna, hit the disable onto Blink. They'll Ice Shard him as well, but Blink is not too scared of a fight right now. Tries to loop himself away. Does have some additional help from Random. If they really commit to this one, Ice can intercept. They're going to pop that ultimate from S4. There goes a Cold Embrace. Healing Blink up, but they are going to have immediate follow-up damage. There goes the swap. Snowball back line. Jerax is in deep. It's going to be Y giving up his life for that one. Winter's Curse onto Anna is going to stall him up, but he's inside the Magnet field with no allies around. Shadow is dealing with these nasty Brewlings at the same time, while Blink is being healed up from the Cold Embrace once again. They try and jump onto him. Snowball, nice use of the Force Staff there, but they slow him down. Ice Shard's blocking in some of these heroes as well. X4 jumps in. They get silenced, but they're actually winning this fight. OG slowly but surely are winning this out, unless Shadow, if they can actually kill No Tail here. No Tail slow. Shadow Grave, and he's going to be able to get out. Yes, he is. He completes the TP. Shadow doesn't get a bash again. Never lucky, but Team Random are still going to run over Anna. Looks like they'll get that kill as well as the Tusk.
I can't even believe they only lost 2 heroes there.
I know.
The amount of time that they kept Death Prophet alive was insane. Winter Wyvern also managed to, at the very start of the fight, not only Cold Embrace the Death Prophet, but also blink dodge the initial boulder from S4. I thought for sure S4 was going to be able to keep Ice out of the fight, but he didn't at all. it almost felt like the Brewmaster ulti did nothing. But if he gets a Cyclone off on the Winter Wyvern, the whole fight changes. Because he was able to heal like 24% of Death Prophet's HP 3 times in that. That's like a cheese practically. And if that guy's that hard to kill with only 2,000 HP, it's only going to get worse when he finishes Octarine and maybe a tanky item afterwards.
And Aegis for the Troll Warlord. You're looking at him, and it's hard to see how exactly OG are going to be able to stop him if he just goes BKB high ground and starts hitting on a building. So for me, that kind of says OG have to find a way to force the fight outside of the base.
Yeah, which is exactly what they tried to do there. They were just a little too low on the damage. Incredible that they weren't able to manage it there, but it's going to get even harder with them. With Team Random winning that fight, they're going to get more farm, they're going to get more items, and OG's got to get a way to kill opponents soon. Mjolnir's going to be the pickup for Arc Warden. Maybe that'll work well because they'll do a lot of magic damage that jumps through the Cold Embrace, but I'm not even sure. He's really fast right now, too. Picks up the plus 50 movement speed perk on Death Prophet. He's running at 445 movement speed at all times.
That'll be a nice way to be able to deal with some of these. They got a lot of slows on the side of OG, and as well as that chase down of the snowballs. So it feels like movement speed is actually going to be really effective in this game.
They're definitely having lockdown problems.
Top lane push is coming in fast. OG are trying to push out the bottom lane as much as possible in order to force Team Random back, but it's just not going to happen. Team Random are forcing it at the top lane. They're going to be able to take this full lane, it looks like, as OG are unable to fight in time. Not even being able to threaten the bottom lane. Team Random just set that up too well.
They feel so far ahead, Batrider just goes back, doesn't care. I'll just kill these 2 Necro 3s for 400 gold while my team gets the racks. They're just so far ahead right now. It's kind of the same story as the first game. The last pick really was the right solution. Their opponents didn't have a great pick to deal with it, and it kind of dealt with what the other team wanted to do in the first place. Last game it was the Enigma. This game, very much so the Death Prophet. It fit into the draft so well.
And if Blink gets BKB, then they're going to have 2 cores that are just going to ignore everything that OG are doing because they really don't have much of a source of physical damage. Arc Warden eventually turns into a right-clicker, but for now, he's just got Necronomicon and Maelstrom, so he really doesn't do all that much. Ember Spirit is obviously primarily magic damage at this point in time. Brewmaster, he's the only source of any pittance of physical damage on the side of OG, so these BKBs are just going to overwhelm the Dream Green.
And most of these guys just have medallions and solar crests anyways. I don't even feel like physical's the solution. There's not a lot of solutions here. Troll Warlord even going heavy into tank. He's not getting damage skills. He's just going armor, health, agility. Maybe he even grabs magic resistance at 25.
I was thinking about that.
I don't know.
Not?
Like 20% is pretty big when you're running around with about 3.5k health late game. Can really pay off.
2 minutes for the Aegis. Team Random. Side lanes have been dealt with. A top lane push doesn't really matter because the tier 2 is still up there. Faithion looking for his opening.
See if he summons a Necro before his little Arc Warden dies. He does.
Pops it. Ooh. There he goes. Fights No Tail in the back lines. That's going to be a big one. Fly sitting on the side is going to have to get the Shallow Grave off in time. No Tail does get saved for the time being, but will it really matter? They still have the damage out. The Winter's Curse is even going to hold these heroes in place. So as soon as that wears out, No Tail immediately dies, as well as Jarek's in the back line. S4's Pandas are almost dead. He's going to try and get away with the Earth Panda. It looks like Team Random are actually fully focusing on finishing him off. So 3 members of OG down, a 4th potentially in trouble. Anna jumps back to the base. Doesn't have too many remnants to work with now.
These Necros are just not making the difference in these team fights. If anything, they're helping Team Random because of the Winter's Curse. Plus, maybe a big error there.
Shadow Man's up, has the Aegis still. Wants to be able to put some sort of use to it, so they take it to tier 3 tower, and it's actually a big caught by the silence. He's been orced up, that link gets broken through. They use the Shallow Grave to be able to protect him. Looks for the Remnant out, he's so low, can they get any damage out? Jumps over the Remnant, does manage to get himself away. No Tail, back up in 10 seconds. Our Team Random gonna continue this fight for round 2. Looks like they are. They're gonna go for this melee Rax. And this means OG really have to force this one and actually get something in it. Shadow, they're going to go for him, try and take out that Aegis without any full real commitment. Y jumps pretty low. Maybe No Tail can finish him off, but as Shadow comes back, he pops the BKB, finishes off that melee Rax, and on the way out, a full retreat. And OG don't have too much catch. The Ice Shards misses, and Shadow will continue his run back to the base.
He is so fast, too. Even if they had detection, I don't know if they were going to kill him. Man, OG really just on the back foot this game. It feels like they can't do anything about the first lasso that comes up other than a Grave, but Grave is not the solution they need anymore. They've lost so much advantage ever since they started losing fights in the mid game.
Yeah, because of this, it seems like Team Random are so like the way they chased down S4's Panda.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like, whatever. Like, do we really need to use this exorcism to finish off the mid lane of ranks, or can we just kill heroes and control the game? Absolutely. After all, they're not dropping off anytime soon. They just picked up some of their, you know, we've had the troll BKB for a little while, but we have this fresh BKB from Blink, so they've still had a significant. Oh, look at that. Jesus Christ. Poor S4. That's not pretty.
He lost his passive, and he was getting Bloodthorn crit just automatically.
Oh, they need this kill. They need this real badly. OG, they're going to try and go on a Blink here, but the Winter's card's turn around, and it's actually dropping pretty low here from just the damage from No Tail's Tempest double, and Blink is able to finish him off towards the end. So Team Random now well set up to force the bottom lane out. Jarek's is going to just do whatever he can to actually stop the creep wave.
The Shadow's split pushing, taking racks. He's got the range barracks, going to go for the third set right now, all while things are busy. Jarek's has no TP. He's basically 1v3 right now. Tower's dead.
Courier, pick up that extra just before finishing up the racks. He actually sees the real No-Tail here. Wants to be able to finish him off. Doesn't have any vision, though, to be able to see him, so he turns his attention back to that melee racks, which is rapidly falling. Now Blink comes in big, is able to get a silence. Now the follow-up lasso.
Oh, he wants
Refresher,
both.
he's going to get Fly as well. Fate Beyond, a little bit of style as we finish off this game number 2. OG call it. Just like that, the series been evened up. Who said Team Random was out of here? They look like they're coming back, man.
They had the very, very tough group stage. A lot of 1-2s, 2-1s. And they're taking it to game 3 again. I mean, that game was just, honestly, the outdraft seemed very clear to me. The Death Prophet just fit so perfectly. That was a super planned strat. They didn't reveal anything for the first 3 picks, yet it's still perfectly synergized with that final Death Prophet pick. Very good with the Troll as well. I'm sure they didn't have to go down that path. But OG also didn't have to pick Arc Warden. I don't think that was the hero. I think the Necro build was kind of a cool idea, but it did not work at all against Winter Wyvern, nor when they were behind like that. I'm just still not sold on that hero right now. Unless at least help your guy get a really fast Midas, maybe even pre-Aquila. That's going to change the game massively if he can get it that early. But almost every single game I see Arc Warden come out, he doesn't get it at a good time. It's always delayed a little bit, gets boots first, gets a wand first, and maybe they should have just sat in their lane more. Give him the early Midas, then let him die once or twice.
OG, Arc Warden picked up once again. Another loss for OG, this time on the main stage.
Just goes to show, never trust your bartender. We're back at the Kiev Major, and we are in our third and final draft between Team Random and OG. It's 1-1 if you're just joining us in the round of 16. The winner stays, the winner goes through to the quarterfinal. The loser is done and will go home in the bottom 8. All to play for as we head into this third draft.
We've got a change up on the bans. The Venge and the Batrider being taken out by OG this time. So, I mean, yeah, Faith Beyond had a pretty commanding performance on that last one. Put a ton of pressure on the safe lane, giving a lot of information. And then the Venge ban, like we were kind of mentioning, that's, I think, just a really strong hero that Random's been playing their most out of any of their heroes.
Yeah. And a tree first pick from OG.
Yeah.
That's a hero that was ignored both games, I believe. So I think what this shows is that OG's like, oh, we're down the game. Now we're breaking out the strats.
Yeah, time to bring the A game. The one that they feel is their strongest.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about single elimination is that, you know, when you get to this 1-1 phase, this is it. You know, there's a chance you might not continue on in the tournament if you're not going to be bringing out your best strat. So I'm wondering if we're going to see something from OG that's either very unique or something very solid that they've been, you know, very successful with in the past.
I think one approach that they're doing is that the last game, I felt like they kind of lost like all 3 of their lanes. I think the tree is one way to, he's like the lane dominator in a way, so I think that could be one approach. So they're like, man, our lanes got pressured so heavily by the way that Team Random kind of like counterpicked us that now we have a tree, now one lane, like a lane's going to be secured. And it also helps defend your buildings as well. With the living armor, we did see the objective taking really hurt versus OG the last game, the way that Team Random played it. They took all the tier 1s and then the map control was pretty much all in their favor. So, and they do go for grabbing an Alchemist in their first 2.
And the Nature's Prophet for Team Random. Very interesting picks. I thought actually the CM would have been picked here. She's obviously one of the ones we've seen a huge amount of success, many different teams here at this tournament, and completely ignored here in the first phase.
It's very unusual. CM is the most picked as well in the entire tournament.
OG's backs up against the wall. What did they pick?
Back to Alchemist.
It's going to be the Alchemist.
Yeah.
The special thing about OG's Alchemist is that Noto and Anna can both play it. So you can, even though they're picking it this early, they still have a lot of flexibility in their draft. That's something that a lot of teams don't have. Also, they're just incredible at both playing the hero and playing around it. On NP, we like to run Alchemist, so we would actually watch replays of OG, as I'm sure many other teams have. And something they would do is, like, they would stack for Alchemist, but not only would they stack for him, you would have Noto come over on something like a Juggernaut and protect him while he was farming that stack. He would legitimately stand on a ramp, not hit anything for like a minute, and he's like, hey bro, Anna, farm this stack. You just stand there, you like patrol. It was...
Brotail.
Yeah,
That's why
Brotail.
it was Brotail, man.
It was so good. But, yeah.
So cool. Why do you think that they drafted the Nature's Prophet into the tree? Do you think that there's any like specific reason that they would do it, or?
Something about Treant is that if you don't finish a tower, he's going to heal up to full. I think Nature's Prophet's one of the better heroes, both at finishing tower and quickly breaking that tree armor so it doesn't heal too much.
Yep.
I think also, I'm not sure because that matchup, if I believe it's Fly who's going to play the Treant, I'm not sure yet. But I believe if you go Tranquil Blink, you're one of also the better heroes at catching this Nature's Prophet. So I hope to see that from Treant. I think it's the one way that that matchup can swing into Tree's favor.
I haven't seen Random have that much Monkey King. I know they had it a couple of games in the group stages. They had, what, twice? And they did, I think, lost with both of them? No, they won one. Okay. And it actually was versus OG one of the times when they did draft the Monkey King when they won with it.
Something I'm sort of curious is that I believe OG banned the puck both games in the first phase, and now Team Random's banning it in the second phase.
Yes.
And they had the option to pick it, so...
That is true.
I mean, it's definitely one of those worrisome heroes. S4, phenomenal puck player. I don't know. I don't know what teams are seeing in that hero, but obviously OG was definitely afraid of Team Random and getting it, and I think Team Random likewise, that to give it to OG.
Yeah, I know the hero's good. I really like the hero. I personally thought it was going to become a first two at this tournament eventually, but to be honest, it didn't meet my expectations in group stage, so I was wrong on that one. But they picked Rubik, which shows... I think what Rubik generally gives you is he gives you like a kill threat on all lanes, just because he has a dispositioning spell. Is that the right word? Disposition? Whatever. So he has a spell that will move your opponent, so you move them further away from the enemy TPs coming in and closer to your heroes. It makes a lot of heroes that could otherwise not be killable.
I kind of wanted to touch back on the puck a little bit. Do you think it's probably because they have like this tree and protector? They can do this like dual lane and they go for S4 with the puck and the tree in the off lane. It puts a lot of pressure onto the safe lane. I did see Wings even run like the puck lich and stuff in the offlane, so they just like to use that hero as like a kind of pressuring hero.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe they think if they have that tree and puck, as you said, and they're pressuring their safe lane a lot, then how are they going to deal with this Alchemist? They have to make a choice. Can we deal with this Alchemist, or are we going to protect our safe lane? And generally, when a team has to make that choice, they're already at like a strategical disadvantage because they're going to have to split the resources. It's very hard to not just overcommit to one thing. You have to find the right balance, and it's just a harder game to execute. And we all know in Dota, there's so many things going on. You want your ease of execution to be as low as possible.
Of course.
Okay, OG do pick up the CM. Are you surprised that wasn't banned in the second phase? Or is it just not worth the kind of ban compared to what they can get rid of?
CM, like I talked about Venge and Dazzle as heroes with teamfight invisible impact. CM's another hero like that. It's really hard to judge how much impact she has in her game just because she has like global aura. I mean, she also has, I think, 3 of the best other spells in the game. And she's only like bad because of her like base stats sort of, or that's her only weakness, I guess. But I mean, it's so hard to justify banning a CM when you have an Alchemist. You want to ban these heroes like Morphling and Timbersaw, and then on the other side they're scared of maybe OG putting a lot of pressure on their safe lane, so they want to ban heroes like Puck. So I don't know, it's a hard hero to ban.
Hard to spend the money. We're up to 101 by the way in terms of picked and ban. The Bloodseeker was the one that we had as the extra ban.
Wow. It hadn't been banned at all yet, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot of heroes.
That is.
It is. It only
considering when
leaves
you're almost maxed out.
11 in captains.
Those sneak attack is in there too. He'll break his way through the captain's world barrier. And then I'll quit Dota.
Please no. Delina.
Burst for the Alchemist. I think that's pretty important to have.
Something that's interesting is Alchemist used to be one of the like better heroes versus Lina just in lane. Maybe not in the game because Lina had so much burst from him. But I wonder if because of the reduced acid spray, if Lina just dominates the lane now. Like the problem is Lina has like what, 1 armor? I think
Yeah, it's
something
very
something
low.
really
It's
low,
one.
and the Assa's Ray would do too much damage. You would have to like spend your mana to spam the lane back out, so you would never have kill potential on the Alchemist.
I really like the Lina too because they have like the threat. It's like if Alchemist comes up and he gets hit by Lina stun, the Monkey King can be around, the Furion can TP in quickly. They put a lot of pressure onto the Alchemist in the laning phase.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's a
kind
really
of
good point.
aspect.
yeah.
As far as going back to things you know you've been successful and you're confident in, Legion Commander for S4 and Alchemist are not in the game. This is OG style. I want to say that if they're able to collapse on the tower early, open up the map a bit, and then start getting picked with S4, I've never seen OG lose a game when they've done that. And they've done it a lot. That's a lot of wins on it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's Legion Commander, who's a super strong laner with a Tree and Protector. So we actually were kind of like joking in the other room. Tree Legion Commander is one of like the most devastating dual lanes, and they're versus a Monkey King Rubik. Rubik pretty weak in the laning phase. Monkey King, of course, if you go Jingu, he can be powerful, but not versus like Tree Legion. You can't really contest those two in the offlane.
Honestly terrified for Team Random right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of carries that can stay down there, but also have the high impact you need when you have Nature Prophet, Lina as your other cores. I'm not sure what there is.
It's very curious to see how Team Random is also afraid of a Venomancer, of all things, coming up for OG.
Oh yeah, Venomancer Alchemist is a sick combo.
Very, very strong.
Not only that, they have enough physical damage from just the Alchemist and the Legion Commander. All they need is like something that when wins his lane can create pressure and can do AoE damage in a team fight.
And defend those tier 1s, like defending
Yeah,
towers.
that's a good
with
point,
those,
actually.
yeah. Because it looks like they've been, at least with the approach that they took the last game, wanting to take those objectives early
Man.
on.
Can you imagine taking, like, look at their heroes. Their 3 middle heroes have some of the best outspam spells.
Yeah.
They have a Trin to heal it up. Can you imagine if you added a Venom in
on
there?
top. Yeah, it's like how do you really
man.
take any objectives versus that?
It's funny because I look at that lineup and I'm like, wow, they can be very defensive. And at the same time, I can see that same lineup be very, very aggressive and be able to take out a lot of different heroes.
I don't think they'll pick it, but I think OG should pick Enchantress Core. I don't think they'll pick it, though. I really do.
Wow.
Yeah. The Ursa ban, I like this. I think that was probably one of the few heroes that could actually do that. Very good versus the Alchemist, great versus Legion Commander in lane. I think that's probably one of the few that could have actually let Random have a decent safe lane. I think right now the safe lane is going to be very difficult for them.
I think you perfectly said it there. OG are thinking about how their offlaner can pressure. If they put Legion Commander down there, they want him to keep the supports down there. They don't want him to go to the Alchemist and like sort of mess up his game, mess up his stacks. They want to keep him there.
And they go for the so this could probably be an Alchemist safe lane then even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as carries go that are good against Furion, he's up there. You
And
kill a
that's
Trent, you get a lot.
And the anti-mage.
Anti-mage, Nature's Prophet.
I mean-
That's a throwback.
I mean, you talk about pressuring a lane. This laning setup doesn't look particularly good, and I think we could definitely see possibly some very offensive stuff coming on the off lane with both the Legion Commander and Treant, maybe even Crystal Maiden.
I think they should put Anti-Mage mid this game and put the Lina in the tri lane. And like if Legion comes down there, they'll have very high kill potential.
I think
Anti-Mage doesn't
that's-
do that bad against Ember mid.
I think
It's
that's a
actually
really
pretty
good solution, yeah.
Okay, prediction time, Conrad.
Just looking at OG's draft here, they look like they have the answer to almost anything this game. I like OG a lot.
Okay.
I've never bet against an OG Alchemist before.
So you're not about to start now, are you?
Yeah, I'm really not.
All right. Okay. Thanks, gents, for your predictions. Because there's no point in asking Fogged, right? Because production already know what Fogg's already picked, so it's easy. We will, of course, come back to our panel after the third and final game. Hold on to your seats. This could be a bumpy ride for both sets of fans. It's Random versus OG.
The Kiev Major is an important placeholder for many teams as it leads straight into the International. Both of these teams, the 3-time major winner OG, as well as the TI champs Wings, look to be able to secure enough of a placing here at Kiev to ensure their invite to TI. But one of them, Kevin, is going to be going home today. And it all comes down to this final draft. An Anti-Mage last pick for Team Random. You said the last time the Death Prophet was the winner for Team Random.
Yeah.
Are you feeling the same confidence from this last pick?
I'm not completely sure. It has some good things. There's some bad things. So obviously Alchemist can have a lot of mana pool. It's a great mana void target. He's great at split pushing. It's going to be difficult for OG to actually get across the map and do what they want to do. But on OG's side, they have a ridiculous amount of entangles. Basically, they've got Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, they do.
They've got a Tree. They've got an Ember Spirit, and they've also got Legion Commander duel. So there's a lot of ways to deal with the AM. I feel like if OG gets a little ahead in the early game, I feel like they can just pressure the crap out of the anti-mage for a long time.
What about the early part of our draft? We had the pickup of the Furion, I think was the most interesting because we had the Treant Protector, Monkey King, obvious trading, whatever was going to be first pick on one side, second on the other. But the Furion, second pick by Team Random, is definitely one of the more interesting pickups. What is the thought process, you think, behind grabbing this hero against OG?
I think it's something that EG ran earlier was Monkey King with Treant, or maybe not Monkey King with Treant, but basically they'll look around, they'll set up a kill, Treant can help out, or not Treant, Nature's Prophet can TP in, help out, get kills. He's also very good in the lane, which is, I think, another reason why OG opened with Crystal Maiden as their third pick. Very good at killing Treants in the early game. So I think it definitely has some good potential here, but Team Random, their split push is very good. Their split gank, sort of gank across the map thing is very good as well. So I don't know. We'll see how the lanes work out. Legion Commander, his lane is going to be what? Just typical off-lane stuff. It's going to be tough versus a Monkey King, Rubik, that's for sure.
Yeah, Monkey King is one of the... no, we're not saying one of. He is the best zoning support out there, right? Like Jingo Mastery, there's no offlaner that can really stand up to that one. So if he wants to, he can level that up, keep the Legion Commander zoned out, in which case the Treant Protector has to maybe offset that, and they do a dual offlane of some kind. Look at that. Faith Beyond. Get cheeky with it.
Very wise to do this. So what it basically does is stacks up the waves so that when they actually do meet, they're going to end up pushing. And No Tail's going to have to tank the creep wave under tower. And he actually doesn't have a Stout Shield just yet. He needs about 20 gold. So this could cost him a little bit of HP. But ultimately, he's just done for the purpose of getting himself gold. And yeah, he's just going to summon trees at the shrine in the meantime and guarantee some farm while he waits for the creeps to show up.
Awesome. I mean, we saw the same kind of level 1 play from him on the Bat Rider, right, where he was able to pull one of those creep waves. It seems like Faith Beyond has a knack for being able to ensure himself that basic amount of farm in the first few minutes of the game. OG are still, they're trying to work around with this pull system here, see if they can actually get the creep wave to not push into Faith Beyond, but I highly doubt it will be successful. In the mid lane, we do have Anna facing up against Blink, Lena versus Ember Spirit, with some potential additional support from Jerix on the OG side, and then that roaming duo of Rubik and the Monkey King. Obviously, the Lena should have an advantage here against the Ember Spirit, not just because of the one-on-one matchup, but also I feel like you have better supports to roam around. Not sure if this Treant Protector can really roam on to mid all that effectively.
Yeah, he actually came at the worst possible timing there. He aggroed the creep wave, which means he needs to walk these to the mid lane now. I mean, it was his initial movement was mostly to sap the experience gain from Nature's Prophet on the Alpha Wolf camp, but slight mistake for him to show up there. Now he wastes a lot more of his time.
Look at Ice playing around with the mischief. Needs a commander. I like what S4 is doing here. Manning up and is actually going to fight this Jingu Mastery. It is not that much lifesteal at level 1, and S4 does have a source of lifesteal of his own. Moment of courage, but maybe he stepped out a bit too far. Ooh. Shadow unable to finish him off, and to get another good round of nukes, S4 will pop that shrine, a very efficient use of it.
Yep, and that's basically the advantage that S4 has here, is that he's got a shrine in addition to his poor man's shield tango, and his base armor is a little bit higher than what a Monkey King's is anyway, so he actually does trade advantageously for, it's about simple, it's about even at least. Jingu Mastery is always going to be great, but I'm glad they at least traded hits with Monkey King, better than doing nothing, because he's, either way, Monkey King would be able to sap experience most likely. Maybe not now, because he doesn't have Tree Dance, but see how S4 reacts to this.
Jerix setting up again, trying to catch Blink out of position here, but as we know, they do have that ward was kind of set up.
Yeah, he figured it out. It's a little unfortunate for OG that they didn't get that the first pass in, but that's because the creep wave spotted him mostly. So Faith Beyond level 3 here in the off lane. Going to do his best to get experience, but Fly is nearby, ready to grab some free Treant kills if needed. Oh, he's in a lot of trouble, actually. These could take a lot of damage here.
Yeah, he's going to be forced to use the Frostbite to slow down Faith Beyond. That's the hard part. This Crystal Maiden really just cannot stand up to the Nature's Prophet. He can Frostbite one of the Treants in his free CS form, but the other ones are just going to run at him, which means I don't think he'll really ever be able to get a successful wrap on Faith Beyond.
He did get the stack, though.
Additional subterfuge.
The stack will allow him to pull the creep wave back at least. S4 is not going to do as well this game, for sure, in the laning stage. Treant Protector, or Nature's Prophet, sorry, is one of the best for that, just because the Treants do so much damage right now, hitting for 32.
I was about to say, even with this pull coming out, I think, unless Jerix is able to keep him zoned, Faith Beyond might be able to summon a fresh round of Treants and maybe claim some of these last hits. Oh, that's unfortunate. Hellbear Smash actually catches Fly there. takes some additional damage onto him. Jerix is being forced back. This early damage to Nature's Prophet with the Blightstone is actually doing a great job of threatening these supports, and let's see if he can use it to scare some of these last hits as well.
And the other issue is Fly's just out of regen already, and that's entirely because of the fact that Jerix went for Orb of Venom first, going for a slightly more greedy item build. So that means that he has to make up for that by buying more support items on Fly, so he's got less regen, it runs out faster, and now he can't even feel comfortable walking towards Faith Beyond, who's got boots already. It's a bad spot to be in. Jerix does hit level 2 though, which gives him Nature's Guise, which means he can actually initiate on the Nature's Prophet.
I like that Team Random putting a lot of presence here in this mid lane when it comes to wards. Really want to make sure that Lina has a successful 1v1 matchup. Ice, even though they lost their initial laning ward, replaces it with a higher up cliff ward that will still see those support rotations.
And bringing himself a salve actually at 4 minutes here. Probably just wants to save his bottle charges.
Oh, Faith Beyond, did he get a little bit too far out there? Looks like he could be right-click to death. One miss, but a swing from Jerix will bring him low. First blood.
Really nicely done. Jerix with the Quelling Blade as well. He's going to be cutting a lot of sprouts down this game, not to mention the Monkey King. This is like the most value Quelling game ever.
That was a double miss right there. Burnout, Ice going to be forced back. They missed both their both the tree dance jump as well as the Lina LSA. So Anna getting away scot-free. And gets the rune as well, so it's actually in a pretty decent position despite that attempted gank. He's sitting at a higher CS over Blink as well.
And No-Tail's just about the most last hits on the game, 37. On the opposite side, Anti-Mage 41 and 13. So Anti-Mage pretty happy this game. And AM versus Legion, another pretty good matchup here for the AM, obviously, because he just basically is never going to have to worry about Legion having mana. With the Arcane Aura, at least S4 is going to be slightly relieved from that problem, but good luck getting 100 mana.
At the same time, though, right, the Legion Commander has a passive that she can use, so she'll still be able to kind of play out the lane and not be too terribly threatened by the AM, at least not until level 6, right?
That's true. Smoke is used by the 2 OG supports, so it eventually breaks. They were good at first. They passed the Monkey King in the jungle, but they kind of waited on their high ground looking for an opportunity. They didn't want to swing around because that's usually a very common place for a Monkey King to be, is sitting in the trees on the left. And
you see that? Faith Beyond has hit his level 6 before Anna's Ember Spirit has.
Wow.
So he actually got an ultimate out. Knocked Anna down a little bit. Fortunately, did get another rune, so he'll be able to heal up. But they've got that big new, and that does a lot of damage now. You and I were actually talking about it when 7.0 first came in. The initial damage is less, but the bounces, they increase that percentage, right? And it does even more than it used to.
Yeah, 11 extra % per bounce. Pretty solid. Can make a big difference in these early ganks, especially because it's a little unpredictable sometimes for both players, the person using it and the person receiving. But there's just so much setup here to kill Anna, and if they can get the slow off, all right, that's going to be a good start. He doesn't have a Quelling either.
Got the chains. Sprout leading into the LSA. An easy kill there. Ice dropping a bit low. Jerix is going to try and finish him off with the leech seed, slowing down Y. Instead, they get the nuke to finish him off from S4. Now it goes for the secondary support, but they're losing supports of their own. Fly's already down. Jerix is gone. Fly is able to stay alive, but it's going to be S4 blocked out. Nice plays from Faith Beyond. Beautiful blocking. The Furion is working out beautifully here for Team Random.
Oh, it's just perfect timing on the Sprout. Right when he's about to go into a close-knit area, drops the Sprout so that it's very difficult to click on the correct tree as soon as you need to, and gets the perfect body blocks off afterwards. OG was, even if S4 got that kill, I still wasn't feeling very good about their trade there, but preventing the second kill as well, big advantage for Team Random in the first skirmish.
No-Tail has already picked up his armlet, though. Both him and the Anti-Mage are essentially getting free farm in their lanes. Both of them sitting above 60 CS in the first 8 minutes of the game. And that is the lovely thing about the Anti-Mage, right, is that you kind of feel okay pacing yourself against the Alchemist, right? It deals with that, you know, the pressure that you always talk about, like, oh god, the Alchemist is getting out of control. Anti-Mage is good with that, you know? He's going to hit his own time.
And I'm kind of thinking about late game, and OG doesn't even have the best Ags heroes. In fact, the best one on their team might be Tree.
Yeah.
Which, it's a very good Ags. It definitely changes the game a lot, but we'll see how much it'll matter. I think it could actually be really huge against Monkey King, actually, because it does give you flying vision, if I'm not mistaken. So they should be able to see where he's going if they're a little set up for it.
Yeah, and being able to get the entangle from it as well. could play out against the Monkey King quite nicely. They are going to be able to do get the right click there on the tower. Jarex is able to finish him off.
I don't know if they did this on purpose, but No Tail actually did have Fade Bolt on him, so he might have missed the last hit, but they just let the tree take it down. Biggest base damage, man. It's going in mid, going to pressure a little. This is with an Arcane Rune, so I think he might just be thinking about damage here.
He does have an Escape Remnant set up as Ice shows himself, so he's good to be able to get out. Jarex will head out to the bottom lane now to claim his level 6 while the Legion Commander makes use of the offlane jungle.
And tower defense is definitely a big aspect of this game, really. Considering that Team Random is going to be able to split push so well with their very mobile heroes between the Prophet, the Monkey King, and the Anti-Mage, making sure that those are all full HP is instrumental to OG better being able to control against that.
Yeah, if we get a successful gank here, for example, from Y and Blink, this pickoff could lead into a Fury on fast push, but instead they are not able to get the gank, but they are able to take some of the neutrals. Jarex is here, he's going to be able to stop that TP. Blink is unable to get out fast, and now here comes the Ember Spirit. He sees a beautifully lined up kills. He's going to be able to catch Blink. Blink can't even finish off Jarex in time, but the Faithful will get him. But they do get a duel immediately afterwards onto Y, so big wins there for OG as Team Random overextend themselves.
That was actually so unlucky for Team Random, though. By the time they go to the high ground, they see that Legion is there. He actually used overwhelming odds previously to nuke the stacked camp, and as a result, he was really fast and was able to run away. Without that, they might have just killed him right off the bat, bursted him down, and started TPs before OG could respond. So a little bit of luck there going in OG's favor.
Sprout out. No Tail in some serious trouble here, but it looks like the living armor plus the armlet is going to be enough to protect him.
He quelling the wrong tree. I was a little worried for him there. Seems to be a reoccurring situation. He's going to Shrine here. Get his HP back up and hit up the jungle.
Oh, man, he's closing in on that relic fast.
Yeah. I mean, he's got almost as many last hits as the Imba. He's only 3 behind. That's incredible, actually. Safe lane out, because that's the solution. Don't let him get pressured. Just give him a really safe tri-lane. Low chance of dying.
And Team Random haven't taken a tower yet, not even close. So it's not even like they're getting any map control during this timing where the Alchemist is trying to finish up his Radiance. Kind of feeling like this, they're just not really hitting their timings, you know? They've got the Lina, they've got the Furion. We talked about how they could bring these heroes in, get kills, turn it into a tower push real quickly with the Treants. It's not even like Treant Protector can actually protect the tower against that many sources of damage, really. But they just are not connecting with the ganks.
Yeah, they have to get the kills first before they can take buildings. So Prophet's going to be great at hitting towers, but only if OG's not around, especially the heroes he has to worry about is maybe a Blink Dagger Legion or Ember Spirit or a tree setting up the initiation. Innocence did grab Fire Remnant at least, so he's going to be able to initiate, but I think he's going to get caught here maybe.
Y, he's already dead in the mid lane. Innocence, Y is able to get himself away. Immediate TPs from the Treant Protector. Actually canceling that one out. It looks like the telekinesis from Y is able to put a stop to that one. Jarex runs his way along the trees. Should be good. Breaking trees. Y, you going to be able to... Oh, he revealed him again. Can they actually kill him in this short window? It looks like they should be able to. They've got the burst damage. And they stole living armor. That is a big win. Excellent plays from Y.
Yeah, pressured them just hard enough, and while they were attempting that, they also brought out a dust. Nobody on Team Random there had any detection, so if Jarex actually just stayed in Viz, bought himself a little bit more time, and then got back to the main tree clumps, he would have been all right. But a little bit too pressured. The pressure was on, and he got scared and lost his Nature's Guise.
I was kind of wondering, like, why the Rubik? I didn't really feel super good about it, but I guess if you take that living armor, sort of offsets this very unique advantage that the Treant Protector gives you. Now both sides are going to have this healing mechanism for the towers.
Yeah, it's definitely going to pay off here, but the towers aren't that low at the moment, so he will definitely upset some chip damage for sure, but may not be the perfect solution. If anything, it's going to matter more in little ganks that happen. So OG's a little damage weak right now. Crystal Maiden's pretty heavily into Aura, for example. Treant Protector doesn't output that much damage. It could actually turn some ganks here.
Push coming out in the bottom lane while Anna goes toe-to-toe with the Anti-Mage.
Just trying to slow things down a little bit. They do see the Treants. Maybe. But Nature's Prophet actually TP'd all the way back. And he actually sidestepped from the Bracer into the Midas, and now we'll go back for the Drone, which I think is the right move. Like you said, their tempo feels different. It feels off, not necessarily what they want. So prioritizing the damage or the farm items a little bit more than the team fight gank items. And he's actually going for the damage perk. I've seen a lot of Prophets go health recently. So maybe we'll see some big damage from Nature's Prophet in the mid game.
Battle Fury now complete for the Anti-Mage at the same time as the Radiance is picked up for No Tail. And with that Radiance, I don't think there's too many ways for Team Random to be able to fight this. So it looks like this could just be safe lane towers being traded off, or maybe not even traded off, because they're taking this bottom tower so quickly, they can actually get up to top and stop Shadow from taking that tier 1 there.
They're doing a great job delaying this with living armor, though. This is the second living armor, this one going with the glyph, so that probably bought them at least 6 to 8 seconds, which is huge here. No Tail doesn't have a TP, though. And one thing he's lacking, which means he can't go to defend top. But will OG go there to defend, or maybe they'll think about rotating into mid to pressure? The Treants will spot them out. They do catch an Observer Ward as well. They're scanning up, thinking about going. Yeah, I think they're just going to let top go. It's a little too dangerous for them to show up late.
Which means Team Random, if they want to be able to protect their mid, are going to have to move pretty quickly here. They want to be set up before OG is already on top of the tower. They've got a nice little ward here to the side. Beginning to wrap around. S4 is real close to his Blink Dagger too after them taking that tower.
He does get Chemical Rage on Rubik, which will help him stay alive, but yeah, OG's going to play it safe here. They've got really good ways to keep whoever is initiated on saved. Press the attack, living armor will be great. But they're going to go back to playing a little standard. I think this is the right move. By killing 2 of their opponent's towers, they've opened up the jungle a lot, which means that they can very likely use their amazing catch against Anti-Mage to possibly get some kills right now. So I think maybe they should move into the enemy jungle. They've got tons of sentries. They've got Observer Wards down. That's what they should be looking for.
Lina with fresh Yule. Scepter tries to catch Ana. Nice dodge using the Sleight of Fist, though.
That was really dangerous, actually. If they caught him, very high chance he dies there. Because it will remove Flame Guard. That's 500 less magic damage you have to do. So BOT's first for him. So this is all going to be about Treant Protector looking for kills, or Legion Commander looking for kills, and backup coming from maybe Alchemist plus Ember Spirit. I think that's the goal here for OG.
Yeah, Legion Commander especially is a great setup, right? Because it's such a long duration hold that the Ember Spirit timing of the Boots of Travel won't be that bad.
Yeah, it's going to be so easy to combo too. 4 seconds of duel, followed up by Frostbite or Searing Chains, or get 2 of those together and it'll make a big impact. So they're going to start pushing out the lane. Jarex is going to be the one to do so. And all of a sudden, everybody on OG group into the mid lane. Looking smoke-like to me. Yeah, Crystal Maiden's holding one. I don't think the Observer Ward spotted them all being there either.
So No Tail will be the one to push it out, while the 3-man crew smokes up and looks for their first reveal of the Blink Dagger on S4.
Oh, this is so greedy, but awesome. Like, it's just so obvious. No Tail's baiting, clearly. They're not even close. They're looking for kills in the jungle where they think somebody might be jungling, like a AM or something. Doesn't work out, though. They do get spotted by random.
They're going to try and save this mid tower. They throw out another acid spray. Anti-Mage is in the neighborhood. He's farming nearby, so he can really be there if a fight does break out. Doesn't look like OG are going to force it, though.
Yeah, and Prophet uses his ultimate as well, probably to push out lanes. They didn't feel ready to deal with that. But that was a lot of free damage, really, considering that the Alk was solo.
He can catch Jarex here. He's actually got a dust, and he does a lot of damage. Phase boots, doesn't actually have the Blightstone out there. Jarex uses the ultimate to try and TP away, but gets stopped by Ice Ice with the Boundless Strike.
He just needs 3 more seconds. It's really close, but
it's just not gonna last long enough. But maybe Ana can actually take something out of this one. He actually bursts down the tree, so Ice Ice was stunned up for a while. Won't be able to lifesteal enough. The Furion dies as well, and that's really all that Jarex needed. Didn't need to survive, just buy enough time to be able to kill those 2 other heroes. Get some rebuttal. Mid lane, there's a rebuttal for you. Blink takes the life of the Crystal Maiden.
Definitely a solid kill, but the fact that Ana as well as the Alchemist were able to get there in time is really valuable. Dead Nature's Prophet, that guy farms really fast. And a dead Monkey King, no one's scouting, no one's setting up pushes, no one's split pushing. OG gets to prepped for the push mid once again, and I imagine OG may do a mass TP there. No, they're just going to play a little safe. No need to go out of control here.
Yeah, OG have just played this, I would say, pretty slow, just because of the fact they don't need to like really push these towers, right? And it's an opportunity you take if you can get it. But as it is, they're pretty happy with the way they're farming on the Alchemist and the Ember Spirit.
It's got Chemical Rage again, but the tower's getting real low.
use the glyph, buy some time. The Animage is pushing out bottom lane right now.
There.
He's beginning to wrap around, but Team Random just not feeling comfortable with taking a fight.
They did bring a lot of heroes to that, so kind of a big loss, really. The Lina looked like she wanted to swing around, but it was just a couple seconds too late. Too much damage being done there. And Jarek's sitting by the last tree remaining here. Oh, this could be huge. They get the stun.
Gets caught by the bash. Now Anna's going to be able to follow that one up. Blink has the Eula Scepter, but there's really not much he can do to stop this one. Now Ice Heist has been found by S4 as well. He managed to Quelling Blade down the tree, gets the duel. An additional kill for OG. They tie up the score 8-8. With the net worth and the experience, at least the net worth anyway, does seem to be in favor of the Alchemist team. Kind of surprised,
but not by much.
So heavily, yeah, it's like the gold is not that much in the favor of the Alchemist team, and the experience is in the favor of Team Random. I'm a little bit surprised they've been playing this more efficiently than OG has, considering their boots of travels.
Yeah, I think they're just spread out across the map a little bit better. OG's spent a lot of effort either trying to set up ganks or to cover Alchemist and Ember. Like, Ember's just barely ahead of what the Lina is at, for example. And I feel like Legion Commander's not the fastest farmer either, especially because he's been looking for a lot of kill setups. I think OG's definitely on the right trajectory, but Random's doing a great job keeping up with the farm.
The Manta's up. Is this one of those go times? Kind of like when you pick up the Alchemist Radiance and you take a tower. Do you think they want to use this Animage aggressively, or is Team Random still okay with just kind of biding their time?
I thought you were talking about the Alch. They both just got Manta, actually.
Oh, well.
And that's the hard part, right? Even if they can catch the Alchemist, he's now got a way to remove a more simple disable. Yeah. Not that there's very many of them. It's basically all just nukes, but the bigger thing is they're going to be able to scout opponents with the illusions. He's going to be able to split push lanes. It kind of just offsets a lot of what the Prophet provides. Jarek's thinking about landing a stun of Faith Beyond, but he's got to wait for more to get there. Maybe not.
Jump for now with the Blink Dagger, but they do have the setup. Nice. Double Boundless Strike. They're going to be able to follow that out with the Monkey King ultimate. Telekinesis into the Alchemist. Now the Eula Scepter. He's going to come back down and stun himself, but nice use of the Manta. Animage jumps forward, pops the Manta in himself in order to get rid of that disable from the chains. Monkey King still scouting out some of these heroes. S4 is on top of Y, but Shadow's there to be able to protect his supports. Now the jump in from Ice in the back line. Immediately jumps back into the trees, but they caught Shadow. They did manage to get that dual damage too right before the Laguna Blade came in. Shadow is a big time kill, and now OG can try and run over the rest of Team Random, pushing into that tier 2 tower.
That was a very dangerous fight for OG. Who knew that the Manta was most needed against No-Tail's own stun? Because if he would have gotten stunned by that, that fight might have just been lost by OG. That would have been like a 4-second stun on himself within Monkey King ultimate. That would have been really bad for OG, but dodges the stun. They're able to work around fights just long enough to finally get the good duel off and enough damage to kill the Shadow on the anti-mage. That was a big fight for OG.
Tier 2 down. Octarine closing in for No-Tail. That is the completion of the rat build. So you can spam out those Manta Radiance illusions. Just go to town, farming the whole entire map. Now, fortunately, Team Random do have a lot of mobility themselves to match the Boots of Travel pickups of OG, so they've got the Animage moving all over the map, dealing with these split pushes, the Furion able to TP wherever they want, and then they've got this kind of like 3-man kill squad between the Monkey, Rubik, and the Lina. But we really haven't seen much of this Lina so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone for some Yules combos, but the times that they did happen, OG was able to avoid them, which is definitely huge. Why? Very likely to die here, unless they're aiming for Shadow instead. He's got Manta, so he can get out of it. But
first in snare, Fly, ready to follow that one up. Shadow very carefully holding onto his Manta until the follow-up is there. Didn't quite get there. Y does manage to get the telekinesis onto No-Tail, slowing him down just a little bit. Gets a little bit of unstable concoction action there as well, but Blink, he's been caught. That's even worse. They lose a core. Can they get an extra one? Faith Beyond can't even get the TP out. Slowed down by Anna. Duel to follow that one up. Did they notice Ice? They did with a slight. He's now has to jump himself away. Might not be able to escape, but OG, they say no sense in chasing a Monkey King. Let's just take another tier 2.
This is looking so good for OG now. The fact that they win another big team fight, and they had anti-mage retreating to the left. That was the best part about it, because they pressured the AM. The AM runs left, and they engaged on heroes on the right. AM's not there when the actual big part of the fight actually started. So no 5v5 there for Random, and they get wiped again. 3 dead heroes.
Animage actually has so much like limited map to be able to farm away because these tier 1s are still up, right? So he can't go for these deep split pushes like you normally like to do. They have also lost a lot of towers and a lot of ground, a lot of aggressive vision down there from OG. So this AM is kind of feeling scared and not really comfortable with the amount of space he has. He's getting very claustrophobic.
Yeah, not to mention Alchemist is always pushing the lanes in. And there's so many hero counters that if he gets overgrowth, he's disabled for a long time. The Manta is obviously a huge help, but he still has to play safe. Like you saw how long Fly waited. That's the right move, but it's so dangerous. So if they catch the right one, or if they land you with a stun right after you Manta, oh, they do kill Ana finally.
And it goes down. S4 also going to be a little bit caught here. Ice throws out his ultimate. Doesn't want a chance getting dueled and dying to S4. So that was a little bit of extra insurance. Now with Fate Beyond here with the Deso damage, just not nearly enough to get that extra kill. So still, killing Ana, big time win. What can Team Random really do with that, though? That's what I'm seeing is like OG, they lose a hero sometimes, but it's not like Team Random can really claim much. All it does is just buy Shadow more time to farm.
And it feels like you have to kill both of them. You have to kill the Alchemist and you have to kill the Ember Spirit, because both of these guys can move around split pushing very fast. Yeah. Obviously, No-Tail a little stronger at it, but definitely both a threat. And in the meantime, look at this. Faith Beyond, tons of farm, but he's also at threat of being killed. Any of these guys can TP. TP on Alchemist could come at the creep wave. Ember is probably the one they want, though. He's way more mobile, and he's got a Blink Dagger. Here comes.
Good to travel up to the top lane. Jerix begins to try and slow down Faith Beyond. There goes the Sprout out. Jerix threatening the ultimate, but Ana's here now. They don't manage to get the chains. Now the follow-up ultimate will be able to stop that TP out from Faith Beyond. And all that gold is just kind of being fed right back into the OG members.
This is Truant used to perfection, basically. Scout things out, get the follow-up. It really works well. Oh, the blink on No-Tail.
Picked up by No-Tail, results in an easy kill on the Lina. 50 seconds there. That's got to be a Roshan.
And that is not an expected item for Alk, but amazing usage there. There's a lot of heroes that are actually really easy to kill if you get on top of them stunned and right-click away. When the blink lets you do that, it's also going to max out his item build faster, which probably means it's Axe time pretty soon. I feel like he's even going to give the Aegis to Ember Spirit most likely. I just don't feel like killing Alk is very possible right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to drop his items either. All these are great.
Ana can just be super aggressive when they do go for that high ground, trying to get a backline kill, like the Lina, for example. Yeah, so he grabs the Aegis, picks up a regen rune for his troubles as well. Got plenty of initiation, plenty of kill power. And Team Random are struggling when it comes to the damage and control department. Like, they might be able to blow up like one hero, but I'm struggling to see how this Animage can really win out a big team fight against OG.
It's one of the big negatives of Nature's Prophet is what happened last time he died. Just very easy to get killed.
Oh, a miss from the Boundless Strike. A nice blink back there from S4. Now the rest of OG are all here. They can pop the Manta. Do manage to jump himself away. Ice. Oh,
they got him.
No! He jumps over to grab Shadow. In the process, knocks down the tree. The dual win against Shadow is the big time kill, though. He's down for 70 seconds. And S4 up to 58 dual victory damage now. This is going to be a third core when we start pushing this to late game, if we even get there.
And he's not farming that amazingly, but that's because he's spending a lot of time going for setups like this, and 58 dual damage really pays off heavily. They didn't even try to catch the Monkey King in that last fight, by the way. That was full accident.
Yeah, he was just like throwing out that remnant and just happened to chop down the tree.
They just have so many good ways to deal with the random heroes. And at this point, Nature's Prophet just doesn't feel useful either. He gets killed by almost anything. The ultra mobility of OG, the blink on Ember, the blink on Alchemist, the initiations from the Trio Protector. It's difficult for them to stabilize. They do spot Monkey King on the backline, though. Oh, they miss the Syrian, though.
Ice jumps forward. Still, though, that tier 3 is at half health, and they cannot afford a buyback on the enemy. It just can't work. He's going to be too slowed down on his farm. So, No-Tail sees the opportunity to jump forward. Does manage to catch Fly. Monkey King lays out his ultimate, but Fly's immediately going to address him with an ultimate of his own. Lays out the freezing field, and they do manage to get the duel in there as well. 3 more seconds till the Animage is back up. OG may not be able to claim this melee Rex, but they are going to try. 3 versus 5. Team Random, can they possibly be able to put a stop to this one? Shadow going to get bashed up by Jarek, slowed down. LSA, complete whiff there. Jarek gets a really good ultimate in the back lines. Blink going to be target here as Anna jumps forward, managed to finish him off. Almost Yule Scepter protecting for a time being, but Blink still goes down. Shadow has to blink backwards. A buyback now from the Fury on Faith Beyond, trying desperately to put a stop to this push on the melee racks, but now Shadow's been caught, held in, Blink forward once again by No Tail. They're trying to get Shadow, but he blinks away. He does manage to get back to the mountain, heals himself up, but that space does create enough time for them to be able to take that melee rags and might even be able to get the range. Monkey King looks for some sort of extra pick off. The OG members retreat. Faith Beyond, he is going to be able to get a sprout onto Jarek's.
He's got to get out of here. He's got the gem. He's really fast now, though.
He's got the movement speed to get out.
Yeah, he does. He's got the gold perk as well. Level 15 on him. And how much money does Alk have? Is that where the party comes? There's a point booster queued up. It's Ags time. Who's going to get it? It's got to be.
It's got to be Tree.
It's got to be Tree. Legion Commander is one of those Ags that it seems.
Whoa, Ice, what you doing here, buddy? Challenges Anna, runs in a fly, as well as S4 in the process.
Huh. All right.
Well, this is the moment desperation really starts kicking in, right? Team Random feel like they need to do something because the inevitable endgame scenario of OG is coming in fast. And mistakes are bound to happen.
It's ready to go. Let's see where the trees go first. It looks like Roche will be the first one they put down, perhaps. He's making a decision on it. Where do I want to see for a very long time? And the fact that they're ahead with this as well is just amazing, because if you're behind, your opponents can afford a gem, lots of wards. It can be a little tough sometimes to get the perfect impact, but dropping the tree in a position like this, look how common that spot is moved. Anytime they farm Ancients, anytime they walk from mid to go to the medium camps, they're going to see it coming.
Blink, managed to get the unstable concoction. Nice Manta dodge there from Shadow. Oh, S4 almost got the duel there. Might still be able to get it, or at least the ensnare. Maybe Anna got him right before the blink. Now a bash on S4 stops the duel for a moment, but it is a momentary respite. That is all. Animage still goes down, completes his Vanguard before he dies, but that is still 70 seconds of no defense from Team Random. Another tier 2 sure to fall.
Jarek's continuing to put free wards all over the map. As long as he keeps these away from towers, I don't even know if Random's going to know where they are. They're going to have to get detection of their own, but they just don't have the money to get the gem right now. They can't spot the Treant. They can't even push out the lanes super successfully. The only time Faith Beyond's out this far is because all of the OG heroes just showed top and got kill.
This Blink Tagger has been super successful from No Tail. I like the way that OG are playing this one out with the double bots and double blinks.
Yeah, I liked it on both heroes. Anna especially has set a little bit earlier pressure on the map, but No Tails as well. Didn't see it coming, gets a big kill on Alina, and all of a sudden it just felt like Random is shut down. They can't get a grasp of this. They were the underdog coming into this, but they took it so close here, and they can still win this. They just have to get a good team fight. Low mana, maybe?
Tail stunned up by his own stable concoction. Nice Manta out of the Sprout, though. A quick retreat out of the Monkey King ultimate, and he will survive. That would have been such a big kill. Now they just kind of have to wait for this Monkey King ultimate. No Tail and Stable Concoction queued up. Yule Scepter to dodge, but Faith Beyond still going to be caught in the process, and it looks like Blink can't manage to make it out. LSA hits on 2, but now a duel on his Shadow. They can't afford to lose their Animage. What a beautiful boundless strike, and a telekinesis follow-up. They're actually stunning all these heroes. They need the big ultimate to finish this one up. Anna in the back, flies dead. Here comes the ultimate. It's not enough to finish off Anna. Shadow didn't have that much mana, burnt in out now. Shadow's going to be caught. He doesn't have to blink away. He's dead. 80 seconds. No buybacks coming up from Team Random. There is no way that Blink can do enough damage, can he? It's not. GG is called.
5 dead heroes. OG just wins it. It looked so close at the end. That unstable concoction from Innocent stunned 4 heroes with the Boundless Strike, but they needed a big mana void right there, and they just couldn't get it off.
Team Random kept the series competitive, managing to take that game 2, but OG, they turn up the heat with the classic OG Alchemist. One fell swoop, it seemed. I mean, they just like, it was the Blink Dagger pickup, they would kill the Lina, it was the use of Anna's Ember Spear. There's so many things that OG did to just shut down all the early game of Team Random and maintain the advantage. for a very easy game.
And I feel like a lot of that was the fact that Alchemist was nerfed to a place where they didn't feel like they had to just open with it. They actually got to draft a lineup that really fit well with Alchemist. They got to put it in the safe lane. They got to protect it with a Crystal Maiden and a tree while making other things happen on the map. He got his items at the exact moments he wanted to. He died 0 times that game. Like, No Tail's performance in that match was amazing. A little bit of flavor at the blink, and it made a huge difference in closing the game out.
Seeing this kind of performance against Team Random, definitely a respectable opponent. Do you think that OG are getting back into like a top tier form? You know, a kind of form that can win this champion?
I think so. I mean, game 1, they had the perfect pick. They played it extremely well. Game 2, they got outdrafted, but it still was very competitive despite that. And game 3 looked like just about perfection. Saw very few mistakes out of OG. I could see them going most of the way, if not all the way.
Green Dream is building up steam, and I'm sure many teams are looking at this and beginning to think about how they beat this team that just always seems to be in top-tier performance. That said, Team Random, they did make this series competitive. They did take Game 2, and they were looking pretty lackluster before. At least we've seen some signs. You know, they kind of look like a shadow of their former selves. You know, the TI champs, they look so good. And then the rest of this year has been kind of looking off for them. But you can kind of see some glimmers, right?
I think they have some good potential, absolutely.
All right, well, that's going to be it for this series. The panel has a lot to talk about for that Game 3, a very dominant victory for OG.